another day, and we used to say in the Army, another day, another 50 cents.
About 30, man.
Time for Neil.
Another 30 cents.
Neil will take you up until 2 o'clock when we'll have, you know how sometimes on your cable you turn on and it says that programming, it says something about the programming like it's, anyway, we got that at 2 o'clock. And then at 4 o'clock, Mad Dog.
About programming that it's what? Just slide by on that. See, there you go again, Mr. Non-committal. Yeah, no, you like I told you yesterday, you guys want to like dump all the crap on me, and then well, I'm not going to be the crap man anymore.
The president's speaking to the United
Nations. Like I said, crap, okay?
Yeah, look
with
at
local
that.
authorities and organizations.
Yeah, right. Get him out of my life.
So he finally admitted that he's taking a rap.
He didn't admit anything. All he did is, they're trying to do a little damage control. Not hurricane damage, but political damage. You know, they looked at those polls and they said, well, you better start fessing up a little bit.
I think it's too late.
And these jackasses, these analists on television, well, this is very reminiscent of JFK after the Bay of Pigs. Yeah, every time I see Bush, I think of JFK, you know? Give me a break.
Yeah, please.
Well, see, this is the problem. It's not Bush that's the problem. It's the media that's the problem. Well, all they got to do is just shine a big, fat spotlight on him and Karl Rove and all these Nazis, man, and they'd be out of there in 10 minutes. But they're too busy with Monica in the blue dress. Just like your buddy Tom Fiedler there at the Herald with his trench coat.
My buddy?
And Donna Rice. That's just an expression. Everybody's buddy. Tom Fiedler with the beady eyes. He's got the same beady eyes as this John Roberts guy. Have you ever seen his eyes?
Fiedler's eyes?
If you see any of those hearings, take a look at his eyes, okay? He's got the eyes of one of those religious, brainwashed. John Roberts.
Yeah.
Not the one that does the news on CBS.
I know who you mean.
The one that's going to be Rehnquist.
Our Chief Justice.
Right. Rehnquist Sr.
Yep.
He makes Rehnquist seem like a liberal, like Ted Kennedy.
And the good part about it is that he's young enough that he's probably going to be there for 40 years.
Oh, yeah. You and I will be pushing up daisies before this guy's gone.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll still be here.
Will we really?
Yeah, we'll be doing,
Yeah, somebody said that to me yesterday about how, how about if I just do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until I croak till I'm about 100 years old? Of course, that's probably a pretty good idea. Then we could relate to the average age in South Florida, you know. I've never been old enough to relate to those people, the people that used to call me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Dunn. I've got blue lips, Dr. Dunn. As long as I live, I'll never forget that show. Here's Marvin Dunn. Now, you know Marvin.
Sure.
Professor of Human Psychology at FIU, and the whole show is about race relations in the community. And they go to the phones. Hello, Dr. Dunphy. She heard the word doctor, so she wants her free medical advice. I've got blue lips, doctor. What can you tell me? And Marvin looked at me, and I looked at him, and I thought, oh, boy. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Is that when you decided to stop doing issues?
No, that was not when I decided. Actually, when I stopped deciding to do issues was I was supposed to have Madeline Marie O'Hare on, which I'd had her on many times. She was great when she was all in one piece.
Yeah.
And, in fact, isn't that her theme song now, I Go to Pieces?
Oh, good.
That's bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was supposed to have her on for like the 8 millionth time, and then I started thinking, because I had been kind of making a little transition on the show anyway, away from guests, and I just canceled it. And that was the end. I don't know. Something inspired me because I said to myself, when you're doing a guest, not that I want to influence anybody else's show, but when you're doing a guest, you're narrowcasting because anybody who's not interested in what that guest is talking about, like Ira, for example. I don't want to pick on him, but that's all he talks about is one thing. So you're narrowcasting, and you're like anybody who doesn't care about what that guest is talking about is gone. You're inviting them to tune out.
You know what? What's the difference between that and people not interested in the subject you're talking about?
Right. Well, no, but the point is you could be talking about a whole bunch of different subjects.
Well, people can. The difference is somebody can call up and change the subject.
Right. Oh, they sure do.
Yep.
And, of course, on this show, when they call up and change the subject, it's usually like that. That's their subject, which is okay. Kill some good time.
Neil, you ought to
kill myself.
Teach a
course. Right on the air.
You ought to teach a course.
Yeah.
In broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever get back into it, maybe it's a good idea.
I bet it would be something that would be very personally...
If I ever get back into the radio business.
Personally satisfying.
No, I don't need to teach a course because my advice is stay the hell out of it. I've said that's the one thing consistently. Don't get into this business, okay? It blows. And, it used to be fun. It used to be a creative business. You had your personalities. You had a lot of fun. You had some creativity. Now it's, the same four grave-robbing companies, the same bastards that own every radio station in the world, basically, and you haven't got a Chinaman's chance.
Right, and the worst part about it is...
And we can't even do fart sounds on this show. I'm looking at the poll we're taking. The audience wants the fart sounds back. So I had a discussion with our 2 flunkies before the show this morning, our 2 middle-level management weak-kneed flunkies, the 2 wusses, and, but you can fart all you want before 10 o'clock, because Joyce just made it up. They have fart sounds on kids' shows, on network cartoons on Saturday morning. They have fart sounds on cartoons, but we can't play them anymore because Joyce made it up. That's the kind of company this is,
Well, I saw somebody who made a comment yesterday, a political guy, and he used the word ass.
Yeah.
And apparently, there are certain conditions under which we're not allowed to say that.
You just can't use the whole word.
Oh, the rest of it, the second part. I got you. Okay.
Right. Hey, listen,
it's great when you have to come in and read the rule book.
I realize it's on my time now, but you better watch yourself. The last thing we need now that we finally got the schedule back to ordinary
is... I'm being good.
We don't need another Patrick Valenzuela for you, okay? No, I'm tired of that crap. I was thinking about this yesterday. You're going to get me going, which seems to be the purpose of this whole crossover, is I have never seen anybody treated with such disrespect as the way they treat you. And I'm not just saying that to suck up, because that's not my style, but they treat you like crap. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm sure that the people at ESPN and ABC treat you with a little bit of respect.
I love going to work there.
Right. But this, because I see you on there, like on the races and stuff, and I see, hey, that's the same Hank that they treat like crap where I work, I think it's a personal thing. I think Greg hates you like poison, like he hates George. And also hates me, but he can't get rid of me because he needs me bad.
There's one caveat to it, though, and you told it to me when we talked a few years ago. Just cash the checks.
Oh, I understand that, but, you cash the checks that could also be pleasant at the same time, which is not in their vocabulary, It always has to be a lot of angst. You did this, and you said that, and blah, blah, And, of course, the audience isn't supposed to know about any of this, about your 85 suspensions. Most of them are like this last one that was piggybacked with your vacation, so we're all supposed to dummy up. And, Hank's just not here today, This guy's been suspended more times than Carter's had an enema. It's scary.
I'm not the only one. When Joe Rose was here, he used to routinely get suspended.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, Joe was also like a human punching bag for Greg. What he did to Joe, and Joe's a great guy. He really is. He's a good broadcaster, but he's a good guy. And the way they treated him was just inhumane. And why? Why? He was a good, loyal guy. In fact, he even came back for more punishment a second time after he resigned. Oh, you can't resign, you're fired, but stick around until I find a replacement. And then he came back another time, and they strung him along while they were working to put that Stern thing on the air, which was the kiss of death. They were working behind the scenes to stab him in the back, and Greg kept canceling the meetings and canceling meetings. They were supposed, because the guy wanted to have a meeting to decide if he was going to get paid or not, And then they just, and of course, they chased him across the street now. And meanwhile, the Stern show is gone, and we're getting, God only knows how many fines in the FCC on that. And then, of course, Joe is over there is the only thing they got in the other place. Nice going, Greg. You quisling, you idiot, you fairy. Right. But anyway, see, he's not going to suspend me because he needs me bad.
I know. That's why I have nothing to say.
In addition to which, I already told him a long time ago, I don't do suspensions. I don't play that game. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, I just don't. I would never do that. Now, you do it because you get paid, and they pretend they don't pay you, but that's all under the table. That once happened to me at INZ. At Zeta. Gary Lawrence. Huh?
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, seriously. I got suspended for saying something on the air, which really was much ado about nothing. And he called me into his office, and they paid me double. It was like hush money. Instead of just paying me for the period of time that they allegedly were docking me for, he gave me another check, and they paid me double for what I would have gotten just to keep my mouth shut.
Well, I will say this. Last summer, not this past summer, the summer before last, was the best summer I've had since I got out of school. I had like 10 weeks off.
Oh, you mean with all the suspensions?
Yeah, and got paid.
Now, there you go again. I can smell another one coming now.
Well, I would take 10 weeks with pay.
How about those Marlins?
Oh!
Yeah, I would take that. Yeah. Actually, I got 7 months with pay from Paxton. I got you beat. That was great.
Oh, I remember that.
That was so great. I'm at the airport. I'm on the way to Rome. And on the way to the airport, I'm listening in the car, and Norma Kent calls in Rick and Suds and says, I want to see, he was testing to see if I was listening. If Neil is listening, I want to see how many people listen to your show, Rick and Suds. If Neil's listening, I want him to call me right away. So I get to the airport, I call him at his office, and he says, stay in Europe as long as you want because you got 7 paid months. Paxton's paying you off to go away.
Oh, what a message.
Yeah. So I spent almost that whole 7 months in Europe.
I remember
come back for a couple of days. And I'd say, this is boring here. I'm going back. And I did. I kept going back. It was great.
I remember when you came back. We had dinner at the dog track, remember?
Yeah. No, at the
or not Pompano. The dog track, Pompano.
Pompano.
Yep.
Yeah, and we were sitting there, and then Fat Rich's brother-in-law, who's a couple of bricks short, he came up and said, we were in the middle of dinner, and he says to you, "Oh, this is my brother-in-law, Richie." And, of course, it was, I keep thinking about how embarrassing that was. It was, of course, at least you had your last dinner with Fat Rich anyway.
Yes, that's true.
That was sad. What a good guy he was.
He was a nice man.
He really was.
Yep.
We had a lot of fun at the track for years and years and years. And his thing was so big about he wanted even strangers. "Oh, I had the super." He'd run around with his ticket. Yeah, seriously, it was like this was his claim to fame, is that he was the racetrack, the expert, And he really did have a long hot streak going there for quite a while.
Those are great.
Yeah.
You're only going once a week.
I had a streak, 22 consecutive winning nights at Northville Downs. Since you've been there, I figure you were there once.
Yep, and
22 straight winning nights. That was a pretty good streak.
That's what happens, and then you're playing with confidence too.
Right.
When you're winning like that, you handicap.
That is correct. And then of course right now I'm in the opposite. It's just one of those things.
Speaking of
like the lotto.
handicapping,
Did I tell you the story? See, I don't want to go on till 10:30, but well, sure I do. The 649, which here they pay a lump sum, no taxes, no nothing. So it was $8 million on Wednesday night, last Wednesday, or no, Saturday. So I played. I spent a couple $100, and I checked the numbers, and I thought I won $40, which is pretty weak, nothing. Next morning I get up because they don't show you how many people won or how much they won until 1 in the morning. Well, I'm not staying up till 1 in the morning to check. So the next morning I check, and I see some schmuck won $8.5 million. And then I realized the numbers I looked at weren't the right numbers. I was looking at Wednesday's numbers, not Saturday's. So I dug all my slips out of the wastebasket thinking, hey, maybe I got the $8.5 million in here. You never know.
Yeah, that schmuck was me.
And come to find out, instead of cashing $40, I cashed $25. So when your luck is on the downswing, it just, goes in cycles. You know that.
You know what? I was out at Del Mar when I was away, and I hit a pick 4 in New York at Saratoga. And it paid pretty well. It was a signer. And I had it for $1, but there was a dead heat for second.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it when I went to collect. I got twice as much as I thought I was going to get because you get it twice when there's a dead heat.
Right.
What a windfall that was. That's great when that happens.
Yeah. No, we got all kinds of stories that'll put the audience.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody cares about this.
One day at Calder, there was I made a real heavy bet on the double, and the horse I bet in the first race came in second. And I just held the ticket in my pocket. I had a feeling, and then it was like this long. They never put inquiry up, but there was a long, long wait, like 15 minutes before they made it official. And finally, the numbers on the board come down, and they took the horse that won. He won by like 10 lengths, and they took him down, and they put my horse up, and I wound up cashing the double. And the reason they took the horse down is the jockey threw the weights out in the backstretch. So when he came back to weigh in, he was like 10 pounds under.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Can
it was
we
the
do
one
that?
horse. Huh?
Can we do that?
Throw the weights out?
Throw the weights out and come in tomorrow 10 pounds lighter?
Let's give it a shot.
Hey, have a good day.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Hey everybody, I'm Brownie Brown, accountable for everybody drowned and drowned. As a human being, I'm a big disappointment, but I got a brown nose and I knows where to point it. There was no rush to get them saved. They don't vote Republican anyway. I did everything I possibly can to show my support for the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, what a job I had as director of FEMA, when I ain't much more than a weaselly schemer and a clueless son of a bitch. Gets his gigs, brown nose in the ridge. Gets his gigs, brown nose in the ridge. New Orleans is wiped out and gone, but W said I did one heck of a job, and it sure pays off to be a crony and another white-pasty Christian phony. The National Guard is down there now, with orders just to get the press out of town. Everybody go home, there's nothing to see. Everything here is peachy keen. Oh, the hurricane gave us the big easy for neocon social engineering, like a giant Republican squeegee. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. I don't believe compassion's what we lack. It serves the right to hapless blacks and you dissenters who say it's a national disgrace. They shouldn't have it black in the first place. This is no time to play the blame game, since we know that hurricanes are caused by gays who are not the right kind of homo. like Scotty McClellan and Karl Rove. Oh, we're achieving the American right-wing dream to make everybody white like me. And an ignorant son of a bitch who gets his job ground ocean or rich. Oh, how I miss petting my Arabian horses. I'd rather do that than watch floating corpses. I'm a negligent murderer now, and I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown. I'm a negligent murderer now, but I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown.
Excellent. I'm going to send him a check just because that was so good.
Wow.
I feel so bad for him. He gets on my nerves, but then I play one of those bits and I say, you know what, he's all right. In his own bald-headed, chicken-necked, turkey-necked, geeky way. Just rub him on the head next time you see him. Well, I'm sure you already do that. Anyway, George sent me Team America, what is it?
World Police.
World Police. And it was great. I watched it last night.
Good.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who did the South Park stuff, and with marionettes.
Right.
Now, they could have made it just animated, or a cartoon, but they did it with marionettes, which had to be 1,000 times harder. And it was really done with marionettes too. I read about it.
Right.
Just
to be cute, just to be different.
Yeah.
And it worked.
But that was really great. It was sensational. Although, I said, if you watch the DVD, there are things on there that weren't in the theater version of it.
But you were telling me about it. I guess I got to rewatch it now.
Right. Well, I was kind of pooped after I watched it.
Yeah.
It's 10:15 at 560 WQAM.
Suck it in and hold it.
Grab hold of your yarmulkes and get ready for a Broadway show you won't want to pass over. It's Fiddler on the Roof, as you've never heard it before, starring Rosie O'Donnell.
If I were a thin girl, yada deedle deedle diddle deedle 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 dum. Ellen would have said yes to me if I were a dress size 3.
And Harvey Firestein.
Matchmaker, make me a match. I like to pitch, so he'd better catch.
Holy gefilte fish! Rosie and Harvey even sing a Fiddler on the Roof duet already.
Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, Broadway's full of gay.
Even though our careers have ended, here is one job that still pays.
Hi, it's so transgender it almost isn't kosher. Don't miss Rosie O'Donnell and Harvey Firestein in Fiddler on the Roof.
Look at this. What the hell just happened to my pile?
You didn't lose it, did you?
Oh, seriously, there's something just happened to my pile here, and I think it's probably because of Troy Stratford. Remember I was looking for that copy? And now all the results of the poll from yesterday is gone, and all my half of my stuff here is gone. Nice going, Troy, you idiot, you jackass, you quisling, you...
You fairy.
God. Well, I don't know what the hell to do at this point. Anyway, Josh, I just sent you a story here, but Chertoff delayed federal response memo shows we need that one on today.
Okay.
Not that I want to start getting pushy or anything like that. What the hell did I do with all this important stuff I just had here, George?
I don't know, I'm panicking.
Jesus, God almighty. Well, it's too late now.
Christ.
Maybe I Schmidt-canned it. Is that possible?
Anything is.
Well, whoever. Who cares about that poll anyway, right?
Right.
Here's the deal. Because first I had the story from the Times about the 150 dead people in Baghdad. Maybe it's an act of God. Something like that.
Oh, God.
You think?
Could be.
How is that possible, George?
Oh, no. I'll play some music.
No, it's just I'm usually a lot better organized than that. I had my big pile here, and all of a sudden the stuff off the top. I took a little off the top, like getting a haircut, but a little bit too much. At any rate, the federal official with the power to mobilize a massive federal response to Katrina was Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff, not Brownie. This is from Knight Ridder newspapers. Federal documents reviewed by Knight Ridder show. In fact, the reason I want it on our website right away is that at the end of the story, if you go back to the link of the original story, there's a link to the memo. You can read the whole memo, which I'm not going to take the time to do that. Even before the storm struck the Gulf Coast, Chertoff could have ordered federal agencies into action without any request from state or local officials. FEMA chief Michael Brown had only limited authority to do so until about 36 hours after the storm hit, when Chertoff designated him as the principal federal official in charge of the storm. As thousands of hurricane victims went without food, water, and shelter in the days after Katrina's early morning August 29th landfall, critics assailed Brown for being responsible for delays that might have cost hundreds of lives. But Chertoff, not Brown, was in charge of managing the national response to a catastrophic disaster. According to the National Response Plan, the federal government's blueprint for how agencies will handle major natural disasters or terrorist incidents. An order issued by President Bush in 2003 also assigned that responsibility to the Homeland Security Director. But according to a memo obtained by Knight Ritter, Chertoff didn't shift that power to Brown until late afternoon or evening on August 30th.
About 30, man.
36 hours after Katrina hit Louisiana and Mississippi. The same memo suggests that Chertoff may have been confused about his lead role in disaster response and that of his department, which, again, you start reading that and you just know damn well that the terrorists, the would-be terrorists, the evildoers are looking at that and they're thinking, aha! How do you like that? The right hand don't know, as usual, what the left hand is doing. Just kind of like those things we were hearing about the police not, communicating with the firefighters in New York.
Right.
On 9/11. And just kind of like the CIA and the FBI not communicating about the terrorists and all this, all of these things. Right. Very sad. I just can't believe that my pile got. I think maybe the window washing guy came in here and grabbed my pile.
That's possible.
You think so?
They open, don't they?
Anyway, so I watched Team America last night. It was great, and George did not watch the Standing in the Shadows of Motown movie. So I did my job, my homework. And the worst part, I wasn't going to tell you this. I sent you my copy. I went out and I bought another one immediately the next day because I don't want to be without. But I wanted you to have it right away on Friday, so I sent it Thursday afternoon. Then to top it all off, he doesn't get it until yesterday when I said go check the mail because I FedExed it, and then he doesn't take it home.
No, I left it here like an idiot.
Oh, brother, what an idiot. Well, anyway, I don't know what happened with yesterday's poll, and quite frankly, I'm sure nobody cares. I don't even know what the hell it was.
Eric can roll it back.
No, I don't. It's not important, okay? We don't have time anyway, because Hank and I get involved in these long gambling dissertations, and we just don't have it. Probably it's an act of God anyway, saving us. We could probably play a lot of fart sounds instead, because that's our poll today. What's your favorite sound or drop-in on the old show? And, of course, the fart sounds, I want them back, is leading 39. Well, guess what? We had quite a conversation about that this morning. And like I told Hank, we have a couple of weak-kneed quislings in there, Clarence and Duff, and they just let Joyce do whatever the hell she wants. She just makes it up as she goes along. There's a difference between the beaded curtain pictures that we can't put on there because that has to do with the law. Even though we may obviously disagree with the law, but, the fascist government that we have now passed these laws about internet pornography and about nude pictures and about how you have to have the proof of age and all this other crap on the day the picture was taken, and naturally we don't have that, and it's not available, and nobody would have that. So it's just an excuse to prosecute people, and, needless to say, Eric has got a wife and kid to feed, and he's not in the, not interested in going to jail yet. So we can't put the beaded curtain on there because of the law. The fart sounds is just arbitrary, made up by a bitch who has no idea what the hell the business is all about, who has no background in broadcasting whatsoever, who is totally, eminently unqualified to be in her position over there in Beasley, and she just, no fart sounds.
Or any other just regular English language words that
she decides that have nothing to do with the FCC law.
Product.
Which I think most of us understand pretty well at this point, at least as far as you can understand it, even though a lot of it is vague and ambiguous, but not anywhere near in the category. So we not only have to suffer, Tom Jicka, from the FCC mandates, but we also are joiced all the time. So the fact that the audience wants the fart sounds back, I'd hold my breath right now. Take a deep breath.
Right.
Hold it.
Just like you
Favorite
would.
sound or drop-in on the old show? Farts, I want them back 40. About 30, man.
About 30, man.
32. I'm dying over here. 27. 24. I thought that would be doing better than that, didn't you?
Well, yeah.
Absolutely correct, sir.
21 for that.
You fairy.
20.
All right.
16.
All right.
They all suck. 11. There's the malcontent misfit choice du jour. I put it on there just for you misfits, and we got 11. They all suck. All the sounds suck, and I'm sure Jicka voted for that 10 times. 9 votes for
Cube.
7 votes for
Unbelievable.
5. Also 5 for
Oi.
the Larry King.
No.
Has got 4. Buffalo Bill.
No.
3. Dice.
Oh.
3.
Absolutely.
2.
I have no life.
Got a pair.
No.
A pair. Pig Snort and the Rock Solid.
Rock Solid.
Have both got the big O.
This is Neil Rogers. Rogers guy.
People helping people is what we do, and FEMA is there to help see you through. When disaster strikes, we are at our best, but we're ready all the time because disasters don't rest.
Your Federal Emergency Management Agency of inept and inhumane pieces of filthy white Bush loyalist criminal crap is pleased to inform all victims of Katrina we now care about you. To show how much we value human life, we now offer you the FEMA card. Each FEMA card has a predetermined spending limit of $300 to $2,000, and you can withdraw the cash at any operable ATM, if you can find one. While Halliburton absconds its $59 billion gift on the promise of rebuilding your city, your FEMA card will give you more loot to boot. Each card will get a stamp with every purchase made. 10 stamps will get you a free cup of coffee at Scoogan's. So, what's in your wallet? Get in line now. All cards available on a first-come, first-served basis. Oh, wait a minute. What was that? Oh, and we're not offering them anymore. So if you can hear this, never mind. Just float away.
Yeah, just turn around and swim back home. Oh, that's the word we left. That's one we left off I left off.
Rectum.
Off the list. That didn't get a lot of votes.
Rectum.
What do you think?
Well, put it on there.
Put it on there. Oh, you eating already? Jeez, it's not even 11 o'clock yet.
Told you we were going to get BLTs.
No, you did not. From Howie's?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
You were
good.
making
Let's
that
give Howie's a
bacon?
nice plug. They've been very nice to us. So that would be a good poll to take someday. Who's gotten suspended more times at QAM, Joe Rose or Hank? I've forgotten about all the Joe suspensions, but it's just Greg's way of trying to treat people like little children and browbeating people and, oh, you're suspended, you did, insubordination. It's like all the crap that Joyce tried to put in everybody's contracts. If we looked at anybody cross-eyed or if we farted the wrong flavor, you're suspended. Just like a bunch of Nazis, man, although it goes with the territory. So I did find the story in the New York Times again. At least 150 people were killed. Here's more good news from Iraq. In a string of bombings and ambushes in Iraq today, in the worst large-scale violence since May and June, and the al-Qaeda group in Iraq said it was launching a nationwide campaign of suicide bombings in retaliation for an American-Iraqi military offensive against insurgents in the northern city of Tal Afar. That bacon's starting to, get caught in my throat. Those little chunks, of bacon.
Coming back at you.
I think you may have to play a lot of music. The al-Qaeda statement published on a militant's website did not claim responsibility for a specific attack, but said, we'd like to congratulate the Muslim nation and inform it the battle to avenge the Sunnis of Tal Afar has begun. Some of the attacks today were directed against the Shiites, signifying they were the latest in a campaign by Sunni insurgents who are bent on exploiting sectarian divisions across Iraq. I think that means a.k.a. civil war is what we're saying. Not that we want to say that, of course.
Nope.
5670560. Oh, yeah. I've got a little bit of bacon coming back up. Isn't that great when you get something like a little feedback, blowback?
Good. You don't mind it coming back at you.
Yeah, you can chew it for the second time. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular Wireless line. Tom Jicka says I should take a lot more calls on the show. We're going to start paying attention to Tom. Little Tommy's going to be the new program director. I bet you he'll get us our fart sounds back anyway. Oh, that's a raspberry. That's for you, Tom. Raspberry. WQAM, hello.
Yes, for the poll, my favorite is you're gay.
Yeah. Now that was Reverend Jones's boyfriend doing a different voice today. That was very good.
They're clever.
Huh? They are really quite a team, those two. In fact, I think they are.
You're gay.
Yeah.
A team.
Yeah, as in Team America.
Well,
if you want to prove your loyalty, you see what you have to do, okay? It requires those heroic knee pads. WQAM, hello. QAM. No time. We don't have time to wait for these slackers. QAM, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Okay.
Listen, my favorite sound of yours is the one that goes, ew.
Oh, I don't even play that very often. The one that goes,
ew.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, about the fart sound. I like them as much as you probably like playing them, but the thing is, when a guy hit it right on the head with the day you took them off, when you're in an office and, and you have that radio going, and, a customer comes in, when you're talking about...
There's nothing worse than a fart sound in the orifice.
Yeah, but, you're trying to, make business with him, and, they hear, sometimes they take offense to that. Without reason, but they do,
Well, that's a good reason that we can't play him anymore. I'm sure Joyce will be pleased.
I don't know how you still take that woman. I don't know. Your agent should be taken to the same restaurant with the Bobby Blake fight.
Or either that, or how about Louis in the Bronx would be good.
Yeah.
Louis, the veal sure is the best in the city. Okay, have a great day, amigo. Get out of here. So how do we put on the poll?
Yeah.
How do you put that on there?
We'll spell it just like that and put Tinky Winky.
Yeah. Or how about Goofy Laugh? How about that? Okay. The Goofy Laugh? Right. And then there's always the Gilbert Laugh. Because you know how I overdo all of these. That's another thing that the fake letter writer wrote to Tom and that thing on. See, I really don't care about that thing in the paper. Just that Tom, just out of nowhere, out of left field, does a mean-spirited thing, just gratuitously, you know, not for any particular reason, just gratuitously. It would be like if I came on here and started ripping him for just out of left field, you know, based on nothing, as opposed to based on the fact that he's a mean-spirited little two-faced, bald-headed geek. Always thought you were my friend, Tom, but come to find out you're a real piece of crap, which is perfect because you work for one of the local fish wrappers. That's okay. Just wait till that 30th anniversary comes and Kevin Baxter writes that big article in the Herald and the City Link and New Times and Old Times and all these others. The Jewish Ledger. All these people are going to be writing big articles, and little Tommy's left out there in the cold. You can write about Rick Casper, okay? Probably the laziest person I've ever encountered in my life is Tom Jick. It would be too much like doing work to do a little research on Dick Casper. It's not Rick Casper, it's Dick Casper, but then again, you don't know crap. WQAM, hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
I started puking my guts out last weekend when I heard the O'Reilly factor. Some guy was standing in for O'Reilly, and the guy's giving a hard time to Canada's rescue team that showed up at New Orleans first. They showed up before whoever little puppet that was, trying to make an excuse that, you shouldn't be doing that because you're making us look bad. Don't you think, is that what you're trying to do, make us look bad? Having your rescue team show up first in New Orleans?
Do you have to be joking? The guy was serious?
I am dead serious. I am dead serious. You can look it up. I'll try to look for the clip. I can't find it. Oh, and by the way, Calgary University, I'm coming over.
Okay.
Have a good one.
See ya.
All right.
Oh. What do you say? You can translate.
I don't understand it.
I'm still puzzled by what I did with that part of my pile that had the pool in there. Probably because what was the poll yesterday? Was that the one about the right wing? Well, I should know because it's sitting right here.
Show.
Oh, that's right about and they probably do want to know the result of that poll. So maybe Eric can. Yeah, that's right.
And Nicole, Grown Up Gotti, and then down from there.
Oh no, that's a shame. How could that disappear? I looked in the garbage. I've looked through my enormous piles here, and it just vanished into thin air, along with the thing about the original printout I had of the New York Times story about the 150 dead people in Iraq, about the bloodshed and murder and violence in Iraq, where things supposedly are under control, and the insurgency is in its waning days. Yeah, it's waning over here. That's what your lying piece of crap vice president was babbling. And he just gets off the hook. They don't keep replaying that clip. Although, quite frankly, if I had to choose between that and the one in where the guy told him to go F himself, I'd rather see that, the one in Mississippi. That's the clip we need to see over and over again. And then, of course, come to find out, and actually they have to bleep that out now.
Right.
Because they don't want to get fined by the FCC, by the dirty word police. Grow up, America, okay? Forget about this Team America. Grow up, America. That is a great movie. Team America World Police, highly recommended by yours truly.
See it again.
A lot of profanity, a lot of vulgarity, a lot of grotesque stuff. It's great. Including, and if you saw the one in the theater, you definitely need to get the DVD, the unedited one.
To see what I'm missing.
Yeah. In fact, speaking of Brownie, 19 before 11 at 560 WQAM. Hey,
Neil, God?
You're over here, and I'm over there. And how about them Marlins, eh? How about them Hurricanes, eh? You know I've had all I can take from that Pee-wee Hoyman. If that pipe smoker sticks one little pinky toe in the studio again, why, I'll punch him in the nose, see? I'll knock out his teeth, I say. I'm gonna mobilize him. Why, I'll twist him into a pretzel. Why, I'll tear him limb from limb. I'll slice his belly open like a grouper. I'll make that poofula cry. The next time he attempts to assassinate my good character, I'm going to call my attorney. I'm calling the National Guard, no matter where they are. And I'm calling my rabbi. And I'll call Mabel. Like label. And then I'm going to pull a freight train using only my dentures. Like All-American Boy and Lance Armstrong again. Why, if I ever get my... What is that? There's a monkey in my checkered pants. Why, you... Get out of my checkered... Not there, not there.
All right, okay.
I'm waiting for the last breath. Let's see. Here's a fax from the Frog Hater who says, you haven't played it in a while, but I'd like to see. I must be crazy. I must be nuts.
I must be crazy. I must be nuts.
As in John Henry. I don't think we need to put that on there. It's not going to get any votes, right?
Okay.
It really won't.
No, it's...
Now, let me just say this to you, okay? Now, Stern is still playing fart sounds and has been all along.
Right.
In fact, when Muff was sitting in there with the dump buttons, with the 85 dump buttons and the 45-minute delay, I guess we were dumping all of those out, including the day that he had the farting contest or whatever that thing was. So they had to dump a whole segment of it out. Very juvenile and childish, okay, based not on the FCC, based not even in the most repressive American laws under this fascist regime, but based on the ramblings of Joyce, who doesn't know a radio from Uranus, okay?
Or the English language or FCC law.
Nothing. Just makes it up as she goes along because, panic is us. So when in doubt, leave it out. And I'm going to say it again. If Clarence and or Duff, and of course Greg, forget about him because he has to leave it to corporate legal, which is code for he's been wussified. Since he pulled that fast deal with my contract that time and lied through his teeth about it, since that time he's been wussified and put in his place by corporate legal, by Carolyn Beasley and by Joyce over there in the West Coast. Embarrassing. So at any rate, you'll have to make do without the fart sounds. That's a raspberry.
Okay.
For Greg and for Clarence and for Duff and for Joyce especially. Another one for her. There you go, Joyce. Okay, before, thanks to Eric getting that poll from yesterday, I got it. I still can't find what I did with that. That's only the second time I think I've ever done that. It's very strange. Have you ever had that happen to you? It had something right in front of you.
Yeah, well,
huh?
It's not under your ass, is it? Sometimes if I,
It is not under my ass. I'm not sitting on it. I'm not hatching it.
Cigarette lighter or remote, it's under my ass.
Although I am fully clothed now, and that's because I had to go down and get that Boca Brian disc. I bet you thought it was because the window washers are here.
Well, you said you were going to put a shirt on.
I put the shirt on for that, but then, of course, it would have been bad if I just had the shirt and no pants on to go downstairs and get the Boca Brian disc. But anyway, because I got this big pile, and I don't get to a lot of these because I don't read as many stories now that Jick is onto me. Germans designed exploding chocolate bar.
All right.
German saboteurs designed an exploding chocolate bar for a campaign of sabotage against Britain in WW2, according to documents released last week by the British National Archives. There was no evidence, however, that such lethal threats were ever deployed. The chocolate bomb... Oh, maybe that's what I was seeing in that movie Team America. Maybe that's what that was.
Is that what it was?
Dog, just leave it, okay? You didn't even see it, that part yet. And you don't want to. Well, you do. I thought to myself, oh, here we go. It's train spotting all over again.
I'm just wondering what else I've missed.
Forget about it. The chocolate bomb was illustrated in documents which also explained that it was intended to blow up 7 seconds after somebody tried to break off a piece. The sketch of the device, labeled in English, was apparently made by British agents. The bomb is made of steel with a thin covering of real chocolate, the note said. When the piece of chocolate at the end is broken off, the canvas shown is pulled, and a delay of 7 seconds goes by, and then the bomb explodes. Other German designs included bombs disguised as tins of plums, throat lozenges, shaving brushes, batteries, wood, coal, and stuffed dogs. You ever see wood explode? I have.
No, stuffed dogs.
British agents did intercept one bizarre innovation, bombs disguised as cans of peas. According to documents released 2 years ago, the pea bombs were intercepted. I've heard of pea brains, but never pea bombs. Speaking of our management team. The pea bombs were intercepted when 3 Nazi saboteurs were arrested in Ireland in July 1940. The cans contained small slabs of nitrocellulose explosives. Dismissing the threat, British security agents said the devices were of the most primitive kind of like the Brits, primitive. German espionage and sabotage in Britain reached a level of 100% incompetence in WW2, historian Christopher Andrew told a press briefing. Oh, there's Ted Kennedy.
Effectively put the intent test in. And after the Mobile case, as you well...
This is all well and good, Ted. You're doing a hell of a job, but it's all just a window dressing. That beady-eyed bastard's going to get in. It's just, why are we going through this? Something for the talking head networks to put on anyway. The archives also released some copies of some printed materials attributed to German saboteurs. One read, "To the men of Britain and Ire, you have proved yourselves a race of abject cowards, unwilling to leave your mamas and wifey's apron strings and fight me. You lice, vermin, spawn of prostitutes. You fairy." Andrew, the official historian of the security service, said the effort is so bad he thinks it may have been a spoof cooked up by British civil service. Well, they got to have something to do.
Of individuals that lived many years ago.
Okay, Ted, calm down. Now, here's the poll from yesterday, thanks to Eric. Worst TV show of all time is, we had 1,264 votes. That's not too bad. In fact, Josh says that if we don't get 800 during the show today on this poll, he's leaving. Isn't that what you said?
That's what I said.
How about those Marlins, by the way? Oh! I told you Houston couldn't score in a fixed game. Did I tell you that?
You did.
I predicted Marlin victory last night. They won 4-2. Phillies, though, beat the Braves last night, I believe, 5-4. Was that the final score?
Yes.
So it's, like I told you, Houston is fading. They're fading, which they have a habit of doing that.
It looks that way.
Just kind of like the Red Sox are starting to fade, and the Yankees are making their move. 17-2 yesterday, Yankees in Tampa Bay. Wow, not good. But at any rate, so the Marlins win 4-2 last night, and Houston is fading out of it. But Philly wins, so it's like this weekend, that series is going to be just huge.
Yes.
And that's at PP Park. If those games aren't not only sold out, but standing room only, that's going to show South Florida for being a real, but I think they will be, don't you?
Sold out.
Jam-packed.
No.
There will be people standing on the rooftops. There will be people squeaking at Roxy. I don't care what you say, by the way. He's very squeaky. Oh, yeah, he's not bad. He's just squeaky.
Squeaky.
And I don't care what anybody says. I think Geldy will do a good job on the Panther games. I'm sure you're shocked by my saying that, but I think he will. Because I heard that tape of that one game he did, and you don't have to have a great voice to broadcast sports. There are a lot of great announcers who didn't have a great voice. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what I'm saying. Although, wait till George hears who this is.
Rimmer. He is paired with Bolshevik. Here's Panzer with a drive. Hatchful to save.
It's your buddy Rimmer doing Cleveland and the Syracuse Crunch, a game played in Columbus, Ohio, which I guess is why he was doing the game.
Well, he's got to do something.
Your buddy Rimmer, who's getting ready to buy you that lunch, by the way.
Any minute now. His wife can buy it for me.
Well, she's great. Love you, Farrell. Your husband, don't let him call here anymore.
I know she hates me, but still.
You know, she's great. The worst TV show of all time, Anna Nicole Show, 153. Throwing Up Gotti, 139. Just absolutely Guido-inducing, puking, awful, nasty, nauseating, bringing A&E down several notches. Rosie O'Donnell Show, 106. Isn't that what she weighs, 106? What do they do the weight in the metric? What do they call that?
Oh, pounds.
No, kilos.
Oh, stones.
No, kilos.
Right.
Kilo is 2.2 pounds, so she probably weighs 106 kilos.
All right.
Dr. Phil, 89. Jerry Springer said, and you look at Dr. Phil, we left him off in the beginning, and he zoomed up, as we knew he would. He just blows, man. He's pathetic.
Prior to the time that we adopted the Dole Amendment.
Jerry Springer, 78. Cop Rock, 71. American Idol, 66. Hee Haw, 59. Show for Idiots. Oprah, 48. A show for female idiots. Fear Factor, 44. The View, 40. Bunch of fat old bitches and Barbara Waller sitting around talking crap. Dukes of Hazzard, 32. My Mother the Car, 26. Joni Loves Chachi, 23. Quit picking on Scott Baio. I'm sure he was married to Nicolette Sheridan. Or was that Willie Ames? Who was married to her?
Nicolette Sheridan? Harry Hamlish.
No, but before that.
I don't know.
Willie Ames was married to Scott Baio?
There you go.
Well, who was in charge? Survivor, 23. The Tony Danza Show, 19. He gives me spilkies, man. He's just almost as bad as the Gotti Guidos. Full House, 15. Golden Girls, 15. Jackass, 14. It's a miracle we can say Jackass, the whole word. Everybody Loves Raymond, 13. Nanny, 13. The Brady Bunch Hour, 13. Green Acres, 13. Alf, 11. Punk, 11. Punky Brewster, 9. Look at that, Punked and Punky Brewster. And maybe we got some Punky Pie. Cops, 8. Seinfeld, 8. Baywatch, 8. Beverly Hillbillies, 8 and 8 and 8. A lot of Punky Pie. Laverne and Shirley, Schlemiel Schlemazel, 7. Newlywed Game, 6. Bob Eubanks. I still can't get that out of my head. Now, you probably know what I'm talking about. With his stiff-necked look, Bob Eubanks.
Bob Eubanks? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He always had he had too much starch in his collar or in his neck. Extreme Makeover, 6. Blind Date, 6. Home Improvement, 6. Love American Style, 5. Barney, 5. The 18, 5, eh? Charles in Charge, 5. Oh, that's Willie Loves Scotty. Maud, 4. Married with Children, 4. The Love Boat, 3. The Love Boat. I don't know if I hated the show, but I hated the announcer who did that much worse. The Love Boat. Mark and Mindy, 3. Magnum PU had 3. They were definitely
gay.
Rugrats has got a pair. Hello Larry, 2. Knight Rider, 2. One Day at a Time, 2. That was Bonnie Franklin, right?
Yes.
Oh, and who was the janitor on that show?
Schneider? Pat Harrington?
Pat Harrington from the old Steve Allen show. He used to be funny. I know that's hard to believe. Nightman, 2. CSI, 2. Matlock, 2. Hee Haw Honeys, 2. Mr. Ed had 1. Gilligan's Island, 1. Too Close for Comfort, 1. Will and Grace, 1. And none for Get Smart, Street Smarts, or Gomer's Piles.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Just sit right back and you'll hear an obit about a guy who died. Bob Denver was the actor and... yeah, that's right, he died. He had too many coconuts all upon his head. He just got up to his career which was already dead. Once known as Rufus Butterworth, Adobe Gillis' friend, and Dwayne Hickman is still alive, but Denver met his end. Bob Denver, he died. He last was seen in a grave like this, charted 6 feet in the ground, with Alan Hill, Frank Phelan tomb, Jim Backus, and his old wife, but not Tina Louise, who resembles an old black hole, and Marianne still looks 25, but Bob Denver died.
You know, I don't see
Rectum
on the poll.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and that's going to go zooming toward the top, because this audience is big into...
Rectum.
Trust me when I tell you. So Josh tells me during the break that we're not going to because it is Wednesday, it's the third day back on a full schedule. We're going for 800 a day, okay? 800 votes. Otherwise, he's out.
That's right, I'm out.
Isn't that what you said?
I'm out.
Well, we got 354 in the first hour, for Christ's sakes. We should be able to get 800 with our eyes closed, blindfolded, tied up, with our legs tied together.
We should.
Shouldn't we?
We should.
We should.
No sweat. So let's get on it, okay? It's about time we kicked some serious ass in this town. Get this audience off their duff. Off their duff.
You fairy.
Oh, this story. Remember I was telling you about something about fanny pack the other day. Something about...
Rectum.
Remember?
I forgot what it was about, though.
Although I think Joy says we can't say fanny pack because it sounds too much like... Anyway, 2 FBI agents on their... Well, it was about the guy with a fanny bag that we hate so much. Jackass that keeps showing up at all your appearances.
Not for a long time now.
Speaking of your appearances, by the way, when's your next appearance at some pornographic strip club?
Or anywhere, for that matter.
None?
None on the
Well,
horizon.
I guess your buddy Fat Boy's let you down again. He's probably sitting back there plotting with Matty Bell to throw your little ass under the train again, under the bus. Your good, close, personal friends. I try to tell you who your friends are in that place. You won't listen to me.
Who are they?
I am proud of Hank for one thing more than anything else. He at least admits. See, at least he admits, and I can understand with him because he gets suspended if he farts the wrong flavor. If he looks at somebody cross-eyed, he gets suspended. So at least he admits that I'm the one that's always got to be the bad guy. You know, I have to speak for everybody else because we got a bunch of cowards basically working on a radio station. But when it comes to certain people, because I'm terrified he's going to beat me up, you know.
I know.
He's going to punch me in the nose. Now, he just makes me sick to my stomach. I've just given up any hope that see, I keep, for 4 years now, I've said, I think that there's a part of him that, actually is likable. And no, I was wrong. There's nothing there. There's just no hope to come back and join the human race and be capable of working in an environment where you're like coexisting with other human beings. Just can't do it. So why should I waste my time?
Don't.
I'm too busy trying to get the fart sounds back. Oh, there's another raspberry for you, Joyce. You bitch, you idiot. You clueless bitch. 2 FBI agents on their lunch break in Los Angeles captured a man alleged to be the fanny pack bandit, a bank robber who carried out a 9-month crime spree. The bandit robbed banks from Manhattan Beach to Santa Monica, often carrying off his haul in a fanny pack. On Saturday, Special Agents Michael Haas and Steve Morris looked up from their salads in a Brentwood restaurant to see a man outside a Bank of America carrying a bank bag with red smoke billowing from it, smoke that often comes from exploding pepper spray-laced dye packs that banks use to deter robbers. The man ran as agents approached, but Haas caught him a few blocks later, said FBI spokeswoman Laura Eimler. The man was carrying $1,256 in cash, authorities said. He was identified as Peter. You ever see a P.N. Peter?
All the time.
Identified as Peter Soren Walski, 45. Walski appeared Tuesday before a federal magistrate judge on a single charge of bank robbery and was held in lieu of $400,000 bail. Arraignment set for September 20th. See, it's still timely, this story, even though it was deep in my pile. An FBI affidavit said that Walski confessed to the Brentwood robbery and 9 others. FBI officials said they're interviewing witnesses in those cases before bringing additional charges. He was the fanny pack robber. He'd stuff it in his fanny pack and the money, too. How do you like that? Huh. So there's a lesson for all you kids out there. If you want to steal stuff, it's always good to have like a fanny pack. Pack it. As opposed to like when I was in college, we used to have our ROTC coats on. It was big, even in the middle of the summertime.
Oh, handy. Lots of pockets.
Right. To steal stuff. Like I told you, like suntan lotion.
And candy.
No, suntan lotion. That's what one time I stole a thing of suntan lotion, Coppertone. I have no idea why, because I never used it. But it was just, when you're in college, you do stuff. You do a lot of crap.
Do you?
You stole some suntan? Oh, yeah, too bad. Don't like it? Your mama. Just like I told you about the $80 I found on the ground that time outside my front door here.
Oh, my God.
And I stuffed it in my pocket. Who would know whose it was? $80. I can lose that in 25 seconds at Woodbine. What the hell's $80 for crying out loud? Cheap Canadian currency? Who needs that, eh? Although it is up to almost 85 cents, getting really bad. The American dollar's going to hell. You got this beady-eyed. It's not just beady-eyed. You're right about his eyes.
Ethnic background.
That John Roberts, man, this guy, you can see it in his eyes and his face. He is the devil. I bet you, in fact, you know what movie I saw again the other night, which was very bad, but the first one was a lot better. Omen 2 with Bill Holden.
Okay.
And Lee Remick.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Lee Remick in that?
I don't remember about Omen 2.
I beg your pardon?
I mean, I saw it 100 years ago, but I don't remember who was in it.
At any rate, he had... Now, I don't think they ever looked in this movie on the head where he had the 666. I don't recall any scene where they did that. Damien. And, of course, in the end, Damien... Because I'm sure there was an Omen 3, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
Because he's still alive at the end of the movie.
Right.
Bill Holden ain't doing too good. In fact, I think he was holding that booze bottle in his hand. That was the end of him. What a shame. What a great actor he was. Too bad he was in such a horrible movie, but I'm sure it wasn't the only one. William Holden, one of my all-time favorites. Just a great, great actor. Oh, at the end of the show, see, I'm starting to find, I don't know, everything's out of order here, but that's good. It's disjointed. It's all over the place, the way little Tommy likes to show. All over the place. In fact, I'm going to come to your house, Tommy. I'm going to, dump all over the place.
It was Lee Grant.
Who did I say, Lee Remick?
Yeah.
It was Lee Grant?
The other Lee, yeah.
Oh, I'll be damned. And just until this time, I thought it was Tattaglia all along. Hours after many New York firefighters gathered to mark the 4th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attack Sunday, a firefighter was arrested for attacking an immigrant worker and telling him he looked like he's Al-Qaeda, police said. This is the story I was going to use at the end of the show yesterday, but I ran out of time after that bit about the terrorist living next to you. Firefighter Edward Daly was arrested Sunday afternoon on charges of criminal mischief and felony secondary assault, Police Sergeant Kevin Farrell said. It hadn't yet been determined whether the charges would be upgraded to a hate crime. In fact, most of the crimes in South Florida ought to be a hate crime because everybody hates anybody anyway, right?
Yeah, hate crime.
Daily 20s. In fact, let's take a look at the poll. They all suck. Well, how's that doing on the poll? They all suck. Oh, yeah. 14 votes. They all suck. All the sounds we got.
Oh!
They all suck. Right. Daily 27 is accused of breaking a piece of plexiglass off a curbside newsstand and throwing it at a 51-year-old man who works there, Farrell said. Daly had said the man, an immigrant from Bangladesh, looked like he's Al-Qaeda, Farrell said. The victim, whose arm was cut in the alleged attack, was treated at a local hospital, later released, Farrell said. A woman who answered the phone at Daly's home declined to comment. Daly was the class valedictorian at his FDNY graduation ceremony last year. Isn't that great?
That's great.
New York firefighter. Well, there's always one, we got a lot of very courageous, wonderful New York firefighters, and a lot of dead ones, too, because they weren't getting any messages from the New York police back on 9/11. The fact that they weren't communicating. What a disgrace. It's just an ego thing. Well, we're going to show you. We don't need to talk to you because, that whole kind of mentality. Okay, let's get with it and take about 4,000 or 5,000 calls between now and 2. We're going to have at least 800 votes on the poll. I bet you we got 400 right now without even looking at it. Like I said, 375. We're going to make the, I would say, what do we need, 550 by noon?
Okay.
What would you say?
That sounds right.
To be on the safe side. Well, we better get with it. We got 378 is what I see on there now. WQAM, hello.
That whole kind of mentality.
QAM.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one for being on there. QAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Let's
I heard
get
a
that
report.
on there, George. We got it.
Puts the lotion in the basket.
Go ahead, sir. I'm so sorry. George is
Hey, no, that's okay. You're all mixed up with your pile and everything.
Yeah, my piles are mixed up.
I heard on the NPR yesterday, I'm not sure if they're correct, but I think he said that to build up those levees cost them about $14 million, and that's about the same amount they're spending right now in Iraq per day.
Right. $14 billion.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's unbelievable how they have the priorities set straight, right?
Project, $14 billion, and they turned them down, and we're spending that every day in Iraq. That's correct.
It's unbelievable. I'm checking out, dude. I'm going back to Holland. See you later.
Good luck to you, pal.
Ciao, man.
Totsiens.
Doei.
What do you say, yogurt? He's something like that. That's that Dutch stuff. I can understand why the Germans have all that, and also the Jews, because we eat all of that dairy, all of those cheese blintzes, stuff like that. And the Germans, although the Germans don't eat a lot of dairy, they eat mostly meat.
Yeah.
They're big into Fleisch, bratwurst, bockwurst, knockwurst, sauerbraten. And what's the other thing Wiener Schnitzel? They like their Wiener Schnitzel. 12 minutes after 11 at 560 W. See, that threw me off, that thing with my pile. It's one of those deals where right off the bat. So probably Jick will be writing a column about that tomorrow, about how disorganized I am and how this is what happens when you sit and read a bunch of newspaper stories for 4 hours every day, disorganized and just don't know how to do a show anymore. And you know what, Tom? The checks are still fantastic, and they're actually showing up on time. How do you like that, little Tommy? I wonder how much Tommy's putting away every 2 weeks, huh? Really, really sad. I just don't get it, you know? I'd like to be able to, you know, maybe I can get that job on the side. You know, just write a puff piece about some stupid-ass TV show. Even Barry Jackass has, like, the little et cetera notes underneath his columns, but that requires a little bit too much work, as my friend Rick Casper would say. 11:13 at QAM. If you're looking for a high-speed Internet service, you want one that is fast, one that's reliable, one that's easy to use. In short, you want the best. You want the #1 high-speed Internet service provider in America, Comcast High-Speed Internet. Its 100% pure broadband network blows away the competition with speed up to 15 times faster than DSL Lite. You can download music, photos, streaming video, online games faster than ever before. Simply put, Comcast high-speed Internet gives you the very best Internet experience going. And with features like the Fan, Video Email, Security Manager, and Radio Plus, it's even more intense than ever before. And right now, you can get yourself the Comcast high-speed Internet for just $9.95 a month for the first 2 months. Call 1-800-COMCAST. And get you the #1 high-speed Internet service in the country today. Certain restrictions apply. Call for details toll-free, 1-800-COMCAST.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Blanking. Absolutely. Yes.
Bush ignored the city of New Orleans. Yes, some of the people down there say he failed. Stuffs the people in the Astrodome like cattle, while half the National Guard was in Iraq. He cut funding for their levies, looters causing anarchy. In Aruba, we made a bigger deal. In search for Natalie Holloway, for one white girl we drained a lake, and even asked for help from the Navy SEALs. George Bush was vacationing in Crawford. I guess next year there'll be no Mardi Gras. Girls Gone Wild needs the city of New Orleans, or they'll have to send their film crew to Florida.
Disaster, it can happen anywhere, but we got a few tips so you can be prepared for floods, tornadoes, or even a quake. You gotta be ready so your heart don't break. Disaster prep is your responsibility, and mitigation is important to our agency. People helping people is what we do, and FEMA is there to help see you through. When disaster strikes, we are at our best, but we're ready all the time because disasters don't rest.
All right. That's for real. Thanks, Boca. That's the FEMA rap from the actual FEMA website.
Yo, yo, yo.
Isn't that great?
Wonderful.
They are really styling it, man. They're doing it. They're kicking it ancient style is what they're doing it. Just pathetic.
Word.
Monica says, I vote for...
Ahoy!
I definitely want the farts back. Well, yeah, thanks for your vote, Monica. We got 10 chances of getting the farts back. That's a raspberry for Joyce again. In fact, let's just give her like a whole bucket full of raspberries. There's another one. Bitch. No, I don't blame her. I blame the fact that we got such a weak-kneed management, man, such a bunch of cowards. And, of course, what happens is you back yourself into a corner when you put a bunch of potty-mouth crap on there in the first place, like Scott Farrell, and then you put the Stern Show on there, which is guaranteed to get you fined with it. Guaranteed. You could have bet your life on it. And then all of a sudden you start getting real nervous and peeing in your pants, and you're like back, and then you can't do anything anymore. No mo.
Well, we still have that.
And, of course, some people in the industry who write a lot of crap, I don't want to mention Tom again, they ought to understand that. They were like trying to do a show with our arms and legs tied behind our back with a foot up our anus. But that's okay, little Tommy. You keep trashing. Just spell the name right. You turncoat. You quisling. You fairy. What's your favorite sound or drop-in on the old show is our poll question that Monica was responding to. Fart sounds are leading. 70 people want them back. And let's give Joyce another raspberry for not letting us play the fart sounds. About 30, man, has got 60. I'm not going to play the...
About 30, man.
I'm dying over here, 42. You Fairy has got 42. That's become extremely popular. 38 for... even though we know that some people never say that. Absolutely correct, sir. 37. Mad Dog doing his all right.
All right.
24. Oh, do you know that Clarence called me on Friday, last Thursday,
Okay.
To ask my permission for playing some Mad Dog drop-in they played during the Dolphin pregame thing on Sunday from one of the bits Mad Dog sings. How do you like that? Called me to ask my permission.
Well.
And I said, sure, Clarence, whatever you want. You quizzling, you...
You fairy.
They all suck, 15. They all suck. Everybody sucks. Ah! There's the South Florida hate. No matter what the poll question is, they all suck. Everything sucks. In fact, if you watch that movie again, Team America World Police... Tube has 12. Oh, everybody loves the old Tube. Speaking of that. Geldy Squeak 10, Oi 9, Geldy Shack 8, Unbelievable 7, the Dice 6. The Buffalo Bill has got 5, but Larry King's only got 4. I Have No Life 3, Rock Solid. 3 for Rock Solid. That latest spot he's done.
Rock Solid.
Is so far over the top. I mean, he's getting so carried away with himself. Rock Solid, rock. Just don't even do anything else. Just keep saying that.
Rock Solid.
Wow. Just becoming a lunatic with that. He probably, when he's shaving in the morning, looking in the mirror, he goes, Rock Solid. You know, he's just a nut job. But then again, nobody's up that hour in the morning anyway to hear him. It puts the lotion in the basket. Buffalo Bill's got a pair. Druzy with his...
No!
He's got a pair, but God, let's hope we never see him. Pig Snore 2, Absolutely, by the Momeister.
Absolutely.
He's only got 2. That's one of my favorites. Rectum. Only one Rectum?
Solo una.
Tinky Winky. See, I really don't know how you say it.
Ew.
Has got 1. No, that's not how you say it.
Well.
Goofy Laugh 1. That's this laugh. And look at that. Monica wanted to vote for that. Nobody else does, though, and certainly nobody wants to vote for it. 413 votes. Our goal today is 45,000, okay? If we don't get 45,000 votes, we're going to come to your house and blow your brains out. How do you like that? Each and every one of you.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah, it is. We don't get 60 million votes. Parts of Baton Rouge could reopen by next Monday. An upbeat mayor. Now, why does that? I don't understand. Mayor Ray Nagin's not the mayor of Baton Rouge. Who wrote this article? It's from the L.A. Times. Really bad. Because it's Dateline, Baton Rouge, and it says parts of this hurricane-devastated city. They really mean New Orleans. Believe me. Could reopen by next Monday. Upbeat Mayor Ray Nagin said yesterday as officials announced the first homicide charges connected to the Hurricane Katrina disaster. Very, very weak in the L.A. Times, no less. Boy, I tell you, these newspaper people. Also, State Attorney General Charles Fody Jr. announced yesterday the owners of St. Rita's Nursing Home in St. Bernard Parish have been charged with 34 counts of negligent homicide after 34 residents died during the intense flooding caused by the storm. You see, here's the deal. When they say that there's plenty of blame to go around, they're absolutely right. Because the local, the city, the state officials, and, of course, FEMA, and the federal government, and your obnoxious president who now finally says, for political reasons, oh, I take responsibility. Right, as if anybody's going to buy that. This is the same guy who says, oh, something went wrong? What was that? You're doing a heck of a job, Brownie. But now they're trying to do not damage control as far as the hurricane is concerned. They're trying to do political damage control is what they're trying. Not going to work. Not working a little bit, except for quislings like Jeff Greenfield and Wolf Blitzkrieg. Oh, yeah, just like JFK after the Bay of Pigs. Right. Prosecutors investigated reports that the facility, St. Rita's Nursing Home, that the staff fled the premises, leaving behind mostly elderly patients, some trapped in their beds. What a bunch of spineless cowards. Don't charge them, just shoot them. Huh?
Yeah. Well.
Owners of the nursing home were asked if they wanted to move the patients. They did not. They were warned repeatedly that the storm was coming. In effect, their inaction resulted in the deaths of these patients, Fody said in a nationally televised news conference. Mabel Mangano, owner-administrator of the nursing home, and Salvador Mangano, co-owners, surrendered and were jailed and ought to be shot. Just left the people there to die. Save their own ass. And, of course, but like I said, it's part of the lack of planning in the first place, because if there had been a coordinated, detailed plan of evacuation, they had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They had 3 days to do it, and the first people that should have been taken out were the people that needed, serious care in the hospitals and people in the nursing homes. They should have been the first people to be getting out. And you'll notice, by the way, speaking of the people with the big bucks getting out real fast, that those old antebellum mansions that are built on higher ground, they're still in real great shape.
Yeah.
You see that? Mm-hmm. They're still doing just fine.
Oh, we're fine.
So it goes to show you, like they always say, the rich get richer and the poor just keep making babies.
Well, suddenly about an hour or so ago, he's now a little bit more than an hour and a half ago.
Oh, and there he is with John Bolton, too. Now, that mustache, doesn't that tell you just look at John Roberts' eyes and John Bolton's mustache. And George Bush's,
rectum.
That's all you need to know.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Coming up tonight on Inside the Behind the True Hollywood Celebrity Music Biography Profile Story. It's time to play 6 Degrees of Scientology. And we start it all off with Oingo Boingo.
Okay. Oingo Boingo was co-founded by Danny Elfman.
John Locke's initiative is a reporter for the magazine Entertainment Minutely.
Danny Elfman went on to a big career writing soundtracks like Batman and Dolores Claiborne. Dolores Claiborne starred Jennifer Jason Leigh, who co-starred with Bridget Fonda in Single White Female. Bridget Fonda is now married to Danny Elfman, who is related by marriage to Jenna Elfman, star of the sucky TV show Dharma and Greg. Jenna married Danny Elfman's nephew, Bodie Elfman, and converted to Scientology for him. Voila! The really amazing thing is that even Scientology couldn't stop Dharma and Greg from sucking.
That's true. But who the hell is Bodie Elfman?
Good question. He's had a lot of bit parts in movies, but so far, Scientology really hasn't done crap for his career. In fact, I'll bet a lot of people think that if they become a Scientologist, they'll become as famous as John Travolta, as fat as Kirstie Alley, or as closeted as Tom Cruise. The reality is, most Scientologists are anonymous losers, just like the rest of us.
Oingo Boingo. They were not Scientologists, yet they were famous. Go figure. It's a big, juicy, sopping wet look at show business. Tonight on Inside the Behind.
Well, if they weren't Scientologists, maybe they weren't gay. It's 28 till noon at 560 WQM. Nick in Boca says, what about...
He died?
From Fatso for the drop-ins, huh?
All right.
Which I already played once this morning. Who was that about? It was about your buddy Bob Denver.
Yes, he did.
450 votes. You got a very shabby shot at 550 by noon if we're going to get to that 800, or else Josh just retires. We're all going to retire. We're just not coming back tomorrow. How do you like that? We're going on strike till we get our fart sounds back.
I'm going to have a fart in.
450, that's pretty weak if you ask me. What did we do the first hour? We did something or other, almost 380. Pretty weak. You see how they slack off? That's why Josh needs to keep beating these people over the head. Don't forget, we got the Marlins and the Astros. This is the third game of a 4-game series. So, in other words, Marlins, if they could win today, they clinch the series. But that's really, it's like one game at a time right now, once you get into this time of the year, right?
Yes.
It's not a question of who wins the series. It's
got to
a
win
question
them all.
Right, exactly. Push Houston out of the race for the wild card, and then have to worry about Philadelphia. The thing with Philadelphia, though, is that they got to finish that series with Atlanta, so at least they're playing like a real team as opposed to a girls' team, like the Dolphins played on Sunday. I still can't get over that Jake the Plumber. And people trying to talk themselves into believing the Dolphins are going to be like a dynasty. They're going to be great the Nick Saban years. And speaking of the Nick Saban years, how about that Dave Wannstedt in Pittsburgh?
Oh!
Is he doing it or what, huh?
Brought that Wannstedt error right over there.
The Panthers are the Pits in Pittsburgh, man. He is picking up right where he left off with the Dolphins. Dave Wannstedt. What a piece of turd he is. Humorless piece of crap. Let's see. Oh, now look at this. Todd says the guy...
Yeah.
It goes to show what this audience knows. Look at the guy that says, Jesus Christ. Now, how can you not know that that's Mo, okay? With those stentorian tones of his. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, you can put that on there if you want. Mo saying, Jesus Christ. But how could Todd... Get with it, Todd. You better start listening. The only words he knows, he knows who that is. Even though Mo don't never say... Once in a while, he might say like that. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines. What are we going to do about Joyce? I think we're just going to have to break her kneecaps is what it is. I think that's a good idea.
I'll hold her. You swing.
Okay. No, you're the swinger. WQAM, hello.
How you doing? Can I talk to Neil, please?
Speaking.
Hi, Uncle Neil.
Yep.
Regis had a Freudian slip today. He was referring to the hurricane, and he goes, Hurricane Katrina. I thought that might make you laugh a little.
A little bit.
It's big, Neil. It's bigger than both of us.
Yeah, a little bit. Not a lot. Yeah. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular. Do you believe that? No. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I don't really miss the fart noises, but I do miss those Joyce Queeb noises.
WQAM, hello.
I love you, bitch, you slut, you whore.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, too. How come we didn't put that on there? Because I forgot about it.
On there now.
The one that goes...
You bitch, you slut, you whore.
And speaking of Joyce, see, that must be who he was thinking of. Not that I want to put words in his mouth. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, considering.
Listen,
considering we can't play any fart sounds on this radio station. Go ahead.
We have to all figure that Bush's cash cow and his Mona Lisa is this war.
As soon as somebody told him we're not going to be prepared for the next terror attack, then all of a sudden he starts to take responsibility, because as long as you mention this...
No, you're wrong. You know what they told him when he started taking responsibility? That his approval rating was down to 38%. That's when they decided, hey, you better make a speech and you better start taking the blame because you're dropping like a rock.
I almost thought we were living in freedom until I got past the headline.
Yeah.
He's a clown, and we need to get rid of him.
No, he's not a clown. He's a dangerous Dumbo is what he is. You know, dangerous. Clowns at least are sometimes amusing, except for John Wayne Gacy. Oh, speaking of that apology, your buddy Doug Thompson, who writes the rant in CapitolHillBlue.com, the day hell froze over, speaking of Bush's big apology yesterday that we're all supposed to be so impressed by. Seriously, Jeff Greenfield, you're an imbecile, man. You belong right on there on CNN. A real, doesn't want to say anything, and is not too far to the left, not too far to the right. He don't want to rock the boat. Just filling up a lot of time, while Wolf Blitzkrieg is clicking his damn hip boots together. Card-carrying Nazi Wolf Blitzkrieg, man. Somebody should break his knees. A lot of knees that need to be broken, you know what? And he's one of them. Drag his ass right off that chair. Tilt him over right there on CNN right now.
Greenfield.
Yeah, see? Him too. The day hell froze over, Doug Thompson writes. He says, did I miss the cataclysmic event that rocked the heavens? It rocked it.
Rock solid.
Did Christ reappear and walk on water? Did hell freeze over? Or maybe aliens landed on the mall in Washington? Something must have happened to shift the Earth out of its orbit because George W. Bush accepted blame for something. That's right, President Bush, America's weapon of mass deflection, the man who never, ever admits wrong, went in front of the cameras and said the government's slow response to the dead and dying from Hurricane Katrina was his responsibility. Surely the moon has fallen out of orbit, will crash into the Earth. Tsunamis will rise and drown the East Coast, and West Coast earthquakes will turn Arizona into beachfront property. Jesus himself will appear on Larry King Live and proclaim W is and has been his boy. Something must have happened to change the world overnight. Bush doesn't admit mistakes because obviously he never makes them. Just ask the babbling minions who follow his every word and sing praises about his non-existent accomplishments. Excuse me while I sit down. This is too much to take at once. If Bush can admit a mistake, then God knows what else may happen in this screwy world. Oil companies may admit to price gouging and drop the price of a gallon of regular to 50 cents a gallon. O.J. Simpson will admit he offed his wife and offered to shoot himself on national television, pay-per-view, of course. Democrats and Republicans will recognize that America, not party, comes first. Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson will admit they really are in their religion gigs for the money and that shacking up with groupies ain't that bad either. Bill Clinton will admit bopping Monica Lewinsky because it was better sex than he ever got from Hillary. Tom DeLay will find God, quit Congress, and devote his life to creating a 12-step program for crooked politicians. Fox News will cease broadcasting and pay a fine for masquerading as journalism. Rush Limbaugh will develop permanent laryngitis and retire from broadcasting. Al Franken will go back just to being a bad stand-up comic. Bill O'Reilly will admit to being a phone sex freak and check himself into rehab permanently. NBC and CBS will jointly announce a moratorium on spin-offs of either Law & Order and CSI. Karl Rove will admit he outed covert CIA operative Valerie Plame, resigned from his job as President Bush's political advisor, and swore never to advise another politician again. And George W. Bush will admit he admitted a mistake because Karl Rove told him it was the only chance he had left to reverse his plummeting job approval ratings. Okay, so maybe I'm hallucinating, but if George W. Bush can admit a mistake, anything can happen in this world. Anything. How do you like that?
All right.
This guy's good.
You go, Doug.
And he doesn't write those real long, ponderous articles that some people get really upset when I start reading those long, ponderous, meandering, and fumbling and bumbling because you have to read them real. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
That gets some bald-headed people really pissed off.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM. Your favorite female foursome is back on HBO with a sexy new show in a sexy new city, Baghdad. It's Sex in the Sunni with Carrie.
I'd slaughter the entire Northern Alliance for this Vero-winged burqa.
Miranda.
Just when I thought I met Mr. Right, he blew himself up.
Charlotte.
I think my new boyfriend, Osama, has been hiding on me.
And sexy Samantha.
Those studs at Abu Ghraib could put me in a naked pyramid anytime.
Sex and the Sunni, the most explosive comedy of the year.
There goes another one. Too bad. He was cute.
Yes, Samantha, like you need another man.
Tell me about it. My love life is like a camel stampede. It's one hump after another.
Sex and the Sunni on HBO, right after Curb Your Militant Islamic Enthusiasm.
So Chronic Will faxes and says he knows we can't play. He's a hole by Drew. So we're not putting stuff on there we can't play no more, except, of course, the fart noises that they want back. But he also suggests...
Whammy! God, it sucks.
And then he says, Jennifer, question mark? That ain't no Jennifer. Who is that?
That's Anna Marie.
Oh, is that Anna Marie?
Sure.
Oh, my God, the one that George was doing.
Yeah.
And then Will's got a bunch of other stuff here about John Bro said this, and this one said that, and oil and the wetlands, etc. Thanks, Will, but get a life. So you want to put that on there?
Whammy! God, it sucks.
Or not?
No. No. I mean... ancient history.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. It is ancient history. We're trying to forget about it, okay? Will, so nice try, but get a life. Find a hobby. Take up a hobby beside faxing us. 470 votes. That's pretty lame, if you ask me. We're not going to get to know 550 by noon, and so or 478. So the idea that we're going to get to 800 by 2 o'clock, it's going to be a real battle today. This isn't just an exercise to have fun with the audience. This is like life and death. This is one of my chores that I feel obligated to do this all the time on the show. Every now and then, you have to nudge these people, especially in South Florida where it's 180 degrees in the shade. It's only going to be like about 90 today, right? No rain, sun is shining.
Right.
Sun is shining here today, although it's going to be raining this afternoon. Not bad.
Oh, well.
In fact, today's the only rain day we're going to have in a long time. Having 29, no, what's 29? It's 27 right now. It's 79, so or 83. But tomorrow it's going to start being like 24, 22, 75, 72, 73. Just perfect, man. And they're saying October is going to be above normal temperatures with almost no rain. Here in Toronto, not there. Well, I don't want to rub it in. Oh, and speaking of here or not there, if I wanted to go to Woodbine right now and lose my ass, I could do that. Or if I wanted to go to any of the racetracks, Barrie, Flamborough, if I wanted to go to Niagara Falls, we got casinos all over the place. But in Florida, and I asked about this yesterday, and lo and behold, here in the Sun Sentinel's got the article about it. They're still working very slowly, ponderous, like the tortoise and the hare deal, you know? Only more like Boca Brian, no hair. Oh, yeah, here's one. The Gargler, well...
The Gargler or...
Well, it's not the Gargler.
I think
Gargler,
that's what they...
Gargler's not a drop-in, okay? Although he was very good a couple of days ago, made promo. But you can put that one on there.
All right,
Rocco says, the old lady who says, who the hell are you? Which, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I have...
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, there it is. Thank you. The essence of South Florida... Oh, yeah. Absolutely right, Rocco.
I agree.
That's what South Florida is all about. Who the hell are you? What do you want? Ah! Like that. That's one of the many reasons it's so great not to be there. But the preacher who says, oh, he's not a preacher. He's just a right to life guy. Now, what the hell is that under? Is that under feces?
It is abortion feces.
Is that under abortion feces?
Yeah.
Now watch yourself.
What?
Everybody who's for abortion was at one time themselves a feces. So, and that includes all of you out there. You were once a feces. So we thank you, Mr. President, and now dinner will be served.
Right, dinner will be served. It's time to feed us, is what he's trying to say. Oh, that's bad. Well, that's not a drop-in, but no, at least it inspired us to play it again. Be sure and watch Team America, World Police. I'm sure most of these people have seen it. It's great.
Warn them, though. They have to have a sense of humor.
Well, if you're going to watch something that's done by the South Park guys, why would you watch it if you don't have a sense of humor?
Not a lot of people know that, first of all. And
not a lot of people know what?
That it's from South Park, that it's made by
Well, I just got to tell them that.
But
it's Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who are the creators of South Park.
A lot of humorless people didn't get it.
Most people didn't get it?
A lot of humorless people did not get it. They thought it was gratuitously gross and this and that, and it went over their heads.
Get out of here. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And weren't you telling me that our close personal friend Phil Henry did the voice of the computer on there?
Are you sure?
Didn't you tell me that?
Yes.
Intelligence. Yeah, he was Mr. Intelligence, the voice.
Sorry.
Well, he used to be Mr. Intelligence, but now...
Okay.
Yeah, he's something else. The House and the Senate in Tallahassee are near a compromise on regulating South Florida slot machines, but not close enough to call a special session on the issue, the House Business Regulation Committee chair said yesterday. The main sticking points are the tax rate on slot machine profits and whether the machines will be traditional Las Vegas-style slots or the machines now found in Florida's Indian casinos, a.k.a. ersatz, make-believe. Nobody was voting on make-believe slots, ersatz. While Broward County's High Life Fronton and horse and dog tracks are anxious to see a law passed, Representative Frank Atkinson said he doesn't want to rush the issue. Oh, sure. Why rush into it? We're only losing how much every day? Millions? I mean, why do we need that money for education and important stuff when we can drag our feet a while? And they still got this picture. Every time they run a story about this, they have a picture of people playing Wheel of Fortune. Suckers. I feel no compulsion to push this into a special session, he said, as his committee heard an update on slot proposals. A constitutional, we know about this. The legislature failed to reach an agreement during its regular session in the spring, and a judge ruled, that was Judge Moe, earlier this summer, that Broward pari-mutuals could start bringing in slots because of the failure of the legislature, because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Despite the court decision, the industry has promised not to begin operating the machines until the legislature passes a law, as long as they don't drag it out too long. Never say never, because you don't know when the legislature may or may not act, said Jim Horn, an advocate for the pari-mutuals. We're doing nothing right now. Nobody's ordering machines. But it's a good machine, man. Also yesterday, fat-ass Governor Jeb Bush joined Broward State Attorney Michael Satz in appealing Circuit Judge Leroy Moe's decision that the county's 4 pari-mutual facilities could install slot machines. Bush argued that only the legislature can set the rules for slots, and it's concerned the ruling could affect negotiations the state has with Indian tribes, which also want full-fledged slot machines at their casinos around the state. What he didn't say was that the thing that the voters voted on, the measure said July the 1st, okay, and now it's September the 14th. That's what he didn't mention. They're just taking their damn sweet time. The House, the State House, wants a 55% tax rate on slot machine profits. The Senate's proposed a sliding scale beginning at 35 and reaching 55% if profits top $500 million. The tax money will go to public schools under the language of the amendment. The Senate also believes voters considered slot machines to mean Class 3 machines like Vegas and Atlantic City and Woodbine has, real slot machines, not the Class 2 machines that the House wants. Those machines are already in casinos run by the Seminole and Miccosukee tribes. They look like slots, but they're based on the game of bingo and players play against each other rather than the machine itself. Ersatz slots. There's $1 million a day being left on the table minimum, Horn, who previously served as education commissioner, said after the meeting. We'd like to start having that cash register ring for the schools. Think of the amount of teachers that would pay for. $1 million a day being left on the tables while your legislature and your fat-ass governor continue stalling and dragging their feet, okay? Just like Greg Reed was doing with Joe Rose all the time. Stalling and putting him off and suspending him and playing games while he was busy signing up for the Howard Stern show. And it's got nothing to do with Howard or his show. What it has to do with is the market, okay? There were some of us who told them, you people must be crazy. You must be doing a John Henry, okay? You must be losing your mind in this marketplace, putting that on the air, sitting there with Duff with his 18 dump buttons.
I must be crazy. I must be nuts.
Yeah, nice work, Greg. Oh, they were intrigued by the idea. Let me say it again. Anytime you read when somebody says they're intrigued by an idea, just like the people over the ticket were intrigued by the idea of teaming up Jimmy Syphilis and Joe Rose on the Dolphin broadcast, you know it's a bad idea. Too much mystery and intrigue, you know what I'm saying? Not enough professional broadcasting, not enough common sense, not enough intelligence, but too much mystery and intrigue. Oh, let's diddle with this and let's diddle with that. Yeah, too much diddling going on. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
Just like that dog that was humping a guy's leg in that movie, that awful movie Garden State.
Apparently that was the highlight of the movie.
It was Zach Braff. That was the highlight of the movie, for him anyway. Although he was doing Natalie Portman, which couldn't have been all that bad.
Yeah, but we didn't see that.
That's a bad movie. I mentioned it yesterday. I'm warning you. I'm going to save you a lot of time. Don't watch Garden State. It's got 4 stars. 2004 came out. It sucks. It is just absolutely ponderous. Just doesn't go anywhere. It just, if you're bored to death and you want to kill some good time, that's great. Perfect for you. Or if you like watching a guy getting his leg humped by a dog.
No, I don't need to see a movie for that.
If that does it for you. 5670560, or you can watch marionettes doing it.
Yeah.
In Team America World Police. They're doing it. In fact, they do it all. They do positions that nobody else has discovered yet.
Even the Cleveland Steamer.
Yeah. And then, of course, when she does that Lincoln Log routine. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I know how to do a talk show.
Oh, yeah, Larry. Oh, you know something? This guy was good because we've left off all of Larry's, right?
I know how to do a talk show.
That one and how much?
Blow me $50.
That.
Blow me $50.
Right. Those two, I think, are definitely...
I know how to do a talk show.
Right. That one and...
Blow me $50.
And what about...
Misa Horny?
Is not bad. Or...
I don't have a bone spot.
Or...
That is great radio.
Right. Or...
What word did you say?
That's Joyce's favorite.
What word did you say?
That bitch. Or...
What's the question?
Or like when those people asked for the money back that Larry ripped them off years ago in Miami, and he said...
I will not give it to you.
That's one of my favorites, too. Hey, Larry, snap those suspenders one more time, baby.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is head of Homeland Security, Tom Ridge, advising you to put duct tape on your radio when I raise the warning color to pink for the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
You fairy.
We're about 10 years too late. Yeah, back when things were great. Clinton was president. O.J. was innocent. But we could still see friends. And Beavis and Butthead barely had an internet. And there was no spam yet. Never heard about Bin Laden. Wall Street was always in the black. We still care about Madonna. And none about sneak attacks. And all that great music. Yeah, you could take your pick. Like it was sent from God. No cell phones, no ringtones, no iPods played Oasis or Hootie. That Brandy was a cutie. There was Alanis Morissette and Julia split from Lila. That the Pumpkins were smashing. The Beatles tried to cash in, but nothing quite feels right since 1995. 1995. You know Mariah and Whitney, they beat the pants off Britney. We still had some geezers, but also there was Weezer and we had Sophie B. Hawkins. Yeah, she was good for talking. I wonder if she survived that 1995.
No. 1201 at 560 WQM. We got the Momeister at 2. You got Mad Dog at 4. No, you don't. What's that all about? Oh, no, I mean, the Mad Dog's on vacation. I thought we had a pristine schedule going on. But today and tomorrow you got Geldy at 4 o'clock, which fits right in with what Mike in Melbourne faxes in. He says, what about the Geldy slap? See, I don't have that. You got it with a slap part. Huh?
You have them all, but you dubbed the that one.
See, I have it without the slap. The Geldy slap. That's a good one, Mike. Let's put that right on there. Let's slap him around a little bit. Geldy will be on at 4. Hurricane Hotline at 7. Why is that on again? It's on every night at 7.
What would you do?
What's that all about? To kill a half an hour, I guess. I mean, they don't want to even bring in Jesse Agler for half an hour. So they're going to have, like, probably Joe Zagacki and the Beast in there. Wow. Make sure that nobody listens to the ball game. Marlins on deck at 7:30. Third game of that series with the Astros, which the Marlins kicked ass the first two. Marlins at Houston, 8:05, followed by the Eddie Kaplan Gambling Show. Hurricane Hotline today, tomorrow. Please don't tell me that's on again. Oh, that's right. The Marlins are home, so they play at 7:35 on Friday. So we don't have that half hour to kill. Here's one that ought to be on there.
That's the American way.
Right. We don't have to, like, bleep it on the website. The American bleeping way.
Right.
It says it all, says this faxer, and you happen to be...
Absolutely correct, sir.
Yeah. Says everything you need to know, especially these days.
And many people out here have made it.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. There's Joe. He's biding his time. He wants to be president, which, quite frankly, compared to what we got, would be sensational. But he disappoints me. He's like another waffler, you know, another equivocator, all over the place. Bada beep, bada boop. Yeah, just like the other guy, Scary Carrie. Oh, and didn't I mention Robert Blake before? It's my psychic powers again. When's the last time we mentioned Robert Blake on this show? A long time ago, right?
I don't know, when we were talking about the Rascals.
Long time ago, I mentioned. What?
The young Rascals.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We haven't been talking about Robert Blake, and I mentioned him earlier. I don't remember what context. And here's the story. Robert Blake's slain wife feared somebody wanted to kill her. The actor's handyman testified in a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the woman's family. She mentioned someone in New Jersey who threatened to kill her. Earl Caldwell testified yesterday, adding that he also provided security for Bonnie Lee Bakley, that redneck trailer trash bitch. Bakley was fatally shot, well, we know that. Caldwell was originally implicated in that case, but charges were dropped before it went to trial. He and Blake are co-defendants in the wrongful death suit. Caldwell also testified yesterday that he joined the couple on a trip to Arizona a month before Bakley was murdered. Attorney Eric Dubin, who represents the Bakley family, maybe he was kind of like their Kato Kalin, you know?
Was he?
He was like a Klingon. Attorney Eric Dubin, who represents the Bakley family, alleged that Caldwell became ill on the trip from the idea of killing Bakley. He was like puking his from that. Caldwell, however, said he became dizzy and nauseated after running up a steep rock where Blake and his wife were cuddling in a sleeping bag. He described that trip as kind of a honeymoon for the couple who had wed a few months before after tests proved that Blake was the father of Bakley's baby girl. Blake and Bake. Shake and bake. He also said he enjoyed Bakley's company on that trip. She was fun to be with, he said. She didn't mind swimming in the river, being in the jacuzzi, or being on a boat. Probably naked as a jaybird, I would imagine. Was your assignment to kill Miss Bakley along that river? Blake's attorney, Peter Rozelle, asked Caldwell. Certainly not, he replied. Absolutely not, is what he said.
Getting repeated here. The law is about life. It's about facts.
There you go. You let him have it, Joe. Stick it to him in this good dog and pony show you guys are putting on. And then he'll vote for him anyway. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon and singular wireless lines. So George's assignment tonight is to watch Sleeping with Motown
With the
Guys.
Enemy.
I mean, well, what is the story with that?
I packed it up. I took it out to
Yeah, I
look
bet
at
you did.
the liner notes, you know, and then
Yeah.
I set it aside here, and I forgot to stick it back in the briefcase.
Well, stick it in his sack, Josh, before he leaves. Make sure, before he walks out of that room, make sure he sticks it in his sack.
I done
and
stuck
the
it.
DVD, too.
Here, let me pull it out of the briefcase. Make sure it's still there.
Oh, yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Because I'm not sending you the other one, okay?
No,
Your buddy
no.
Suds will have to bring another one if you lose that. I went out and I had to spend hard-earned $20-some bucks to buy me the new one in order to send you the one that Suds sent to me so that you could watch it. And you're sitting there, every excuse under the sun. He just doesn't want to watch it, that's all.
You know like
it's Motown. It's all those dark folks. You don't want to see that stuff.
Right.
He wants to go watch Eminem pretending to be a dark guy. That's what he wants to see. Crap. Wants to see those guys running around in their underwear.
Right.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Listen, thanks for putting that slap mo on your website.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Keep you off the streets.
247 miles an hour I bitch slapped him.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't come close to that. I better practice.
And wait, there's one other thing. I'm right in the middle of eating a bite of fruit, sorry.
Okay. He's right. He said he's in the middle of eating some fruit. 567.
A fundamentally different conclusion.
Yeah, I know. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon and singular wireless line. We're under tremendous duress to take at least 70,000 calls every day now because we want to really spice up this radio station. Because we don't want to hear people talking crap about the Dolphins going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, boring stuff like that. If you want to talk about the Marlins winning the pennant, or winning the wild card anyway, and going to the World Series again, that would be interesting. Not on this show, of course, but on some stupid sports show. 534, okay? Now, I said 550 around the top of the hour. We're not that far off, you know what? On our march to 800. See, we could have just said 700 again today, and that would have been easy, because we're building back up toward that 1,000 goal, you know? Now that we have to get the audience back after George killed, after the summertime.
Right.
No, it takes a while for them all to come back, not just because you chased some of them away, but because a lot of people were away for the summertime, you know.
That's a good excuse.
Well, that's not what Greg says. He says you chased them all away, and Matty Bell says absolutely positively, you know.
And I still am, just being here.
And then Fat Boy, of course, would wholeheartedly agree while he's knifing you in the back with that big machete that you got over there. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Now, those were the days when Dump would sit on the dump button and Howard Stern would have some sort of farting contest.
Yeah.
And it got so bad that they had to end up playing music, huh?
Right. You go for a whole 15-minute segment. You wouldn't hear Howard or Robin or anything. All you'd hear
All it would
music.
be music. And now,
How could anybody be so stupid as to put the show on this station in this market? They had to be crazy. I told them that, but what do I know? I know nothing.
Now, you have the
Good
Buffalo
thing I
Bill.
don't have to pay those fines. Go
You
ahead.
have the Buffalo Bill, no, but do you have the Buffalo Bill, yes?
Yes. No, it's not on there yet, but it is now.
Okay, and what about Jim Mandich? Long, yes!
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, thanks,
Okay,
fella.
bye.
Yeah. Mad Dog. Now, Mad Dog's got a lot of them. We got the All Right on there.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Well, there's different ones. There's... And then there's... And then there's just... And what about...
You turd.
That should be on there.
In honor
Mad
of
Dog, you
Joyce.
turd. Huh?
In honor of Joyce.
Yeah, in honor of Joyce. Hey, Joyce, you're a turd, okay? We can still say that. Probably tomorrow we'll get a memo. Oh, you can't say turd on the air. Joyce just decided she don't like being called a turd. That's probably... I want to apologize to every turd that ever got flushed, okay, that ever got dropped. Even the ones floating around in the water in New Orleans. We apologize. Because Joyce is just several notches below that. And then, of course, there's always...
You jackass.
Yeah, but we don't play that very often. And then there's...
All right.
Oh, and then there's always...
Look at that.
Yeah,
That bride.
See, we can't even play that. Oh, God. There's so many Mad Dog ones.
That son of a bitch is huge.
Yeah. And then there's...
That's just stupid, Rick. I'm going to start on this theme, and I'm going to rap on it all year long.
Oh, and of course...
Oh, my God.
And...
Alonzo, you're so big.
So there's a few more you can put on there, because obviously the more we put on there, the more votes you're going to get, and there's a better chance we'll all show up again tomorrow with our 800 votes today. If not, too bad. If not, we're taking the day off tomorrow, okay, because we're going to take it personal. See, one thing, I don't believe in being thin-skinned if you're going to do this for a living, but I'm going to change my mind about that. I'm getting tired of taking crap. People accuse me of giving them crap. We're the ones, and especially me. And George. Not so much Josh yet, because although Josh, I'm sure, gets bad mouth all over the building because he's a part of this show.
Behind his back, yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed. See, one thing that I want to make the audience see, we're not joking about this when George says this. This is true. Anybody at QAM, anybody who either is associated with this show or lets it be known that they like the show or like any of us associated with the show personally, on a personal level, they're the enemy.
Yes.
Anybody that likes Boca Brian, that likes Josh, George, me, they're the enemy. Now, the interesting part about that is that there are a lot of those people in the building, so there must be an awful lot of enemies running around.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, thank goodness. And then, of course, there are those people who hate us like poison, but they're also the enemy, so it's, sleeping with the enemy. The Dutch government plans to open an electronic file on every child at birth as a tool to spot and protect the troubled kids of the future. Well, that sounds like Big Brother. Well, they're the ones that started that Big Brother show anyway.
Did they?
Yes. Didn't know that?
No, I didn't. They probably, it's actually entertaining over there, I'll bet.
There's better-looking people on it over there.
And they probably actually do something.
Yeah, a lot. Beginning January 1st, 2007, all Dutch citizens will be tracked from cradle to grave in a single database, including health, education, family, and police records, the health ministry said yesterday. Alstublieft. As a privacy safeguard, no single person or agency will be able to access all contents of a file, but organizations can raise red flags in the dossier to caution other agencies about problems, ministry spokesman Jan Brower said. I can't stop thinking about the scene in Team America World Police where you see Alec Baldwin on the stage, and there's all these Hollywood stars, all these activists, and every one of them, they superimpose the word fag over every... It's just great. You have to see it.
Oh, because of the guild. What is it? The Film Actors Guild. That's it.
Right. Film Actors Guild, fag. Yeah, Susan Sarandon, fag. And then, I'm Matt Damon. That's all he ever says. I'm Matt Damon. Yeah. The intention is to protect troubled children, Brower said. Until now, schools and police have been unable to communicate with each other about truancy records and criminality, which are often linked. If you steal something, if you go shoplifting at the Bijenkorf, they're going to know who it is. Child Protect, that's a pretty nice department store, by the way. You been there?
Which one?
Right next to that damn square. The Bijenkorf. No. Child Protection Services will say, hey, there's a warning flag from the police, there's another one from school, there's another one from the doctor, Brower said. Something must be going on, and it's time to call the parents in for a meeting. Well, there you go. They're going to probably put a mark on there, like a swastika on their forehead, something like that.
Chip, man, computer chip.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Judge. Thank you, Senator.
Well, that was also in Team America on his forehead. What I thought you said. WQAM, hello. Not there. QAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
For the love of Christ, Neil God.
I think he's talking about. Yeah.
Neil God.
Okay. Now we could put different versions of that on there, but I guess that would be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I don't play the Curtis one or the Orlando one.
Neil God.
I play the Curtis one. Since Orlando, well, that's Orlando. Since he abandoned us for his boyfriend, I mean.
Well, but that was the original one, so
What was?
Orlando. He was one of the
Orlando definitely was the original one. I remember that remote we did where he was like dropping stuff in his lap and I kept trying to grab it. But it didn't work out. 551 votes on there. We're trying to get to 800 a day, which ought to be a piece of cake if we had like a bunch of people listening out there, but we don't anymore because the show, let's face it, is on its last legs. That's what little Tommy says, even though he's listening right now, as opposed to Rush Limbaugh. Did he write an article about how we just buried Rush in that spring book? Did he write about that? No. Too busy getting wined and dined out there on the West Coast to write about anything local. See, this business is, he can rip me, but you can rip me all you want. I don't care, but I'm going to, respond because you're just lazy, Tom. You don't write anything about what's going on in the marketplace. Your articles are generic. Your columns are all generic. They could be in Buffalo. They could be in Springfield, Mass., Springfield, Illinois. They could be in Ishpeming, Ypsilanti, Michigan. They could be anywhere, in Portage, Michigan. Any place, any newspaper, any rag, any fish wrapper. They mean nothing. The people would like to know something about what's happening local, like is Bob Hamilton finally going to get his ass canned magic so that guy will call us in again today and say, I only wish from your mouth to God's ears, to Rick Shaw's ears. How come Rick Shaw's not the PD of that station? He knows his oldie moldies. He's got that oldie moldy cap. I say Rick Shaw for PD.
Oh!
Huh? I say Rick Shaw for PD of this station. He'd let us play the fart sounds.
But yes, he would.
Because he knows his shock radio. I wish I had that drop in, Or he says it's just shocking. We don't have that, do we?
No. And I've been looking through the cards lately, you know.
The only Ricky stuff we got is...
It's a lie. I am not a Nazi.
And?
I'm tickled to death that Rick and Suds are on in the afternoon. They sound great. I think they found their niche there, and God bless.
Oh, yeah. How come I'm like so far beyond the break? It's 12:16. I'm a rambling guy today, you know?
Too much fun.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm just so inspired over the fact that Hank finally admitted that I'm the guy that has to do everybody else's dirty work. At least he's honest about it, okay? And like I said, I can understand with him, because if he opens up a mouth, he's going to get suspended a sentence again.
Bush. Tomorrow.
Hey everybody, I'm Brownie Brown, accountable for everybody drowned that drowns. As a human being, I'm a big disappointment, but I got a brown nose and I knows where to point it. There was no rush to get them saved. They don't vote Republican anyway. I did everything I possibly can to show my support for the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, what a job I had as director of FEMA, when I ain't much more than a weaselly schemer and a clueless son of a bitch. Gets his gigs, brown nose in the ridge. Gets his gigs, brown nose in the ridge. New Orleans is wiped out and gone, but W said I did one heck of a job, and it sure pays off to be a crony and another white-pasty Christian phony. The National Guard is down there now, with orders just to get the press out of town. Everybody go home, there's nothing to see. Everything here is peachy keen. Oh, the hurricane gave us the big easy for neocon social engineering, like a giant Republican squeegee. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. I don't believe compassion's what we lack. It serves the right to hapless blacks, and you dissenters who say it's a national disgrace. They shouldn't have it black in the first place. This is no time to play the blame game, since we know that hurricanes are caused by gays who are not the right kind of homo. Like Scotty McClellan and Karl Rove, oh, we're achieving the American right-wing dream to make everybody white like me, and an ignorant son of a bitch who gets his job brown nose in the ridge. Oh, how I miss petting my Arabian horses. I'd rather do that than watch floating corpses. I'm a negligent murderer now, and I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown. I'm a negligent murderer now, but I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown.
573 votes. If we get to 700 by 1, I think we can slide into our 800, don't you?
Think that'll be safe?
We can slide right into it. That's what I'm thinking. We got 573 right now. We might just make the 800, and Josh might not lose his job. Maureen Dowd writes in the New York Times, you're not going to read these columns, are you? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've got two really good ones. Molly Ivins, The Graft Goes On, and Maureen Dowd. Doesn't everybody love Maureen Dowd? Absolutely. Positively. I should point out, a lot of people are reading, and I hope they will, because Josh went through a tremendous amount of work to get that article on there today, didn't you?
Yeah, my fingers hurt.
The one that I talked about before? Well, I could make a comment about that, but I won't. Duff, I think, might know the reason why. Now, let's see. Where's the... I'm looking on I'm looking on the wrong page. Am I stupid or what? Yes. Chertoff delayed federal response memo shows... Look at that. It's almost our leading story read today.
Good.
And we got that on there right away, because that should give you a really good idea of the kind of incompetence. It's not just Brownie. I mean, there's no question he was totally unqualified would be an understatement. But Michael Chertoff, his head ought to be rolling too. The head of the Department of Homeland Security. This is the guy that's supposed to be overseeing between the Viz Queen and the duct tape, et cetera, and so on. And that's why they put that former fire flunky from Miami in charge of FEMA. Who are these people kidding, man? It's a big dog and pony show. And when push comes to shove, when it's time for a real response, good luck to you. That's all I can tell you. Just good luck. Run for the hills. Call up George. Maybe you can, rent his place in North Carolina.
Cheap.
Up there in the mountains where you'll be safe.
That'll be reasonable.
Maureen Dowd says, a fatal incuriosity. I hate spending time in hospitals and nursing homes. I find them to be some of the most depressing places on earth. Maybe that's why the stories of the sick and elderly who died, 45 in a New Orleans hospital and 34 in St. Rita's nursing home in the devastated St. Bernard Parish outside New Orleans, haunt me so. You're already vulnerable and alone when suddenly you're beset by nature and betrayed by your government. At St. Rita's, 34 seniors fought to live with what little strength they had as the lights went out and the water rose over their legs, over their shoulders, over their mouths. As Gardner Harris wrote in the Times, the failed defenses included a table nailed against a window and a couch pushed against the door. Several electric wheelchairs were gathered near the front entrance, maybe by patients who dreamed of evacuating. Their drowned bodies were found swollen and unrecognizable a week later, as Mr. Harris reported, draped over a wheelchair, wrapped in a shower curtain, lying on a floor in several inches of muck. At Memorial Medical Center, victims also suffered 100-degree heat and died. Some are waiting to be rescued in the 4 days after Katrina hit. As Louisiana's death toll spiked to 423 yesterday, the state charged St. Rita's owners with multiple counts of negligent homicide, accusing them of not responding to warnings about the hurricane. In effect, State Attorney General Charles Fody Jr. said, "I think that their inactions resulted in the death of these people." President Bush continued to try to spin his own inaction yesterday, but he may finally have reached a patch of reality beyond spin. Now he's the one drowning, unable to rescue himself by patting small black children on the head during photo ops and making scripted attempts to appear engaged. He can keep going back down there as he will again on Thursday when he gives a televised speech to the nation, but he can never compensate for his tragic inattention during days when so many lives could have been saved. He made the ultimate sacrifice, admitted his administration had messed up, something he'd refused to do through all of the other screw-ups from Phantom WMD and the torture at the Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo to miscalculations on the Iraq occupation and the insurgency, which soon will have claimed 2,000 young Americans. How many places will be in shambles by the time Bush crew leaves office? Given that the Bush team has dealt with both Gulf crises, Iraq and Katrina, with the same deadly mixture of arrogance and incompetence and a refusal to face reality, it's frightening to think how it will handle the most demanding act of government domestic investment since the New Deal. Even though we know W likes to be in his bubble with his feather pillow, the stories this week are breathtaking about the lengths the White House staff had to go to in order to capture and Curious George's attention. Newsweek reported that the reality of Katrina didn't sink in for the president until days after the levees broke, turning New Orleans into a watery grave. It took a virtual intervention of his top aides to make W watch the news about the worst natural disaster in a century. Dan Bartlett made a DVD of newscasts on the hurricane to show the president Friday morning as he flew down to the Gulf Coast. The aides were scared to tell the isolated president that he should cut short his vacation by a couple of days, Newsweek said, because he can be cold and snappish in private. Mike Allen wrote in Time about one youngish aide who was so terrified about telling Mr. Bush he was wrong about something during his first term, he had dry heaves afterward. The president had to be truly zoned out not to jump at the word hurricane, given that he's always used his father's term as a reverse playbook, and his father almost lost Florida 92 because of his slow-footed response to Hurricane Andrew. And W's Chief of Staff, Andy Card, was the White House Transportation Secretary that the senior President Bush sent to the rescue after FEMA bungled that one. W has said he prefers to get his information straight up from aides rather than filtered through newspapers or newscasts, but he surrounds himself with weak sisters who don't have the nerve to break the bad news to him, or ideologues with agendas that require warping reality, or chuckle-headed cronies like Brownie. The president should stop haunting New Orleans looking for that bullhorn moment. It's too late.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Howard David's a bitch.
When I started losing my hair, I lost my confidence too. I tried Rogaine, but it didn't do a thing for me.
When Rogaine doesn't work, try Mogaine. New Mogaine is scientifically proven to grow you a full, thick helmet of hair, just like Mo from the Three Stooges.
After using Mogaine for just 3 weeks, my hair grew in as thick as Mo's. More important, I got my confidence back too. Now I'm more assertive.
Try your Mogaine today.
Hey, shut up, you lame brain. I was talking.
What did you say?
I said can it, knucklehead.
Ow, my eyes. Why, I oughta...
You oughta what?
I oughta be more careful.
Oh, wise guy, huh? See that?
Let's go.
Well, take that.
Mogaine, specially formulated for people who look like Curly.
So let me ask you, how come we haven't put
Howard David's a bitch?
How come that's not on there yet?
Well,
it is now. Okay, so what do we got? I think we got a shot, Josh. 600 and some odd. If we can get close to 700 by top of the hour, we got, like I said, 600. They're coming in now by the ones. See, unless you keep prodding and pushing and begging these people, like, cast their vote, you know. This is why you got George Bush as president, because too many people didn't want to be bothered to vote. And then, of course, a lot of those people who did want to go vote, they kind of changed the complexion of things. Kind of too dark complexion, they were turned around and sent home. Oh, you can't vote, you dark folks. So we get like to about 680 by the top of the hour. I think we can do it. Here's a fax that says... now that our president's admitted responsibility for all the mistakes made, does this make him an errorist? Yeah, he's the ultimate errorist with a T, okay? terrorist, I guarantee, is responsible for the deaths of a hell of a lot more people than Osama Yamama or any other so-called terrorist or Al Zarqawi or Al Schwartz. Blood on the hands, baby. You can wash with Comet Cleanser. You can scour with Listerine and Mr. Clean, and you can't wash it off. Just drowning in a sea of blood. So here's the deal on the poll. I guess I better give the result. That's another problem. Well, I don't want to play these. What's your favorite sound or drop-in on the show? Fart sounds, I want the back 95. That continues leading the way. Raspberry for Joyce. About 30, man, a 91. You Fairy 61, Doi 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 54. I just can't say it like...
Doi 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 Doi.
Who can?
I'm crying over here 52. I'm dying over here. Absolutely correct, sir, 48. Yeah, we need one. I'm crying over here. We need that, the way things are going. Mad Dog, I'll write 32. It puts the lotion in the basket 17. They all suck 17. Yeah, suck this. You idiots, you quislings, you negatory morons who've destroyed that beautiful tropical paradise. 17 like the
cube.
And the drop-in, too. The Geldy Squeak, 16. Oi, 12. Geldy Shack, a dozen for... The American Effin' Way, 9. Unbelievable, 9. Now, see, I could have made like 2 separate ones on that.
Unbelievable.
You know?
Right.
Because we could have the original.
Unbelievable.
Oh, wait a minute.
Unbelievable.
Oh, that is the original. Where's the David Paul one? I got rid of that one. I don't like that one. Dice and has got 9. Rectum 7. Yeah, that's it.
That's under Deep Paul.
David Paul Mumble. You bitch, you slut, you whore, 5. No by Buffalo Bill's got 5. Larry King with his...
No.
That's got 4. I Have No Life 4. He Died from Fatso 3. What's that guy's name again? Sonny Lapalata?
Richie Karen.
The Goofy Laugh, 3. Druzy, no, 3. Rock Solid, 3. Mad Dogs, yes, has got a pair. Loan Me $50, Larry King, 2. 2. Tinky Winky, you, whatever that is, 2. The Pig Snore, 2. Absolutely by Mo has got a pair. Jesus Christ, the Momeister, 2. Oi. Oi's on there twice, right?
It is?
Yeah, it's got 13 up on top, and it's got 1 down here below. It's on there twice. I got 2.
Oi!
Well, you can never have too many ois. Howard David's a bitch just went on there. Neil God, none. They don't like that. What is that? Y-O-U-T. Ute Turd. Mad Dog. It's got a Ute Turd. Buffalo Bill, and he's got none. And Gilbert's Laugh, that probably drives him right to the bull when they hear that. Out of 607. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I have mixed feelings about this. Speaking of numbers, by the way, here's some more important numbers. A little update on that grotesque story. The latest bloodshed and violence and mayhem in civil war in Iraq. Nice job, Bushmeister. And let's see. Greg Hates You. Oh, that's a good one. That's one of George's favorites because certainly it's about him.
Greg Hates You.
Yeah, let's get that on. Who is that, by the way? Oh, that's just a caller, right?
A caller who knows what it's all about.
Yeah. More than a dozen explosions ripped through the Iraqi capital in rapid succession today, killing at least 152 people and wounding 542 in a series of attacks that began with a suicide car bombing that targeted laborers assembled to find work for the day. Al-Qaeda in Iraq claimed responsibility. And, of course, before our attack on Iraq, there was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq, in spite of all the lies. The one-day death toll was believed to be the worst in the capital since major combat ended in May 2003, and Al Jazeera said Al-Qaeda in Iraq linked the attacks to the recent killing of about 200 militants from the city of Al-Tafar by U.S. and Iraqi forces, Before dawn today, 17 men were killed by insurgents in the village of Taji, north of Baghdad, which pushed the death toll in all violence in around the capital to 169. Today's deadliest bombing killed at least 112 people, wounded more than 200 in the heavily Shiite neighborhood of Kazimiya, where the day laborers had gathered shortly after dawn to look for work, and they don't have to worry about looking for work now because they're in bad shape. Everything is just fine. There's another one.
Oh, we're fine.
Dan Stewart, a real idiot if there ever was one. Hey, Dan.
You fairy.
Oh, we're fine.
Put that on there? More the merrier, man. 624. There's Arlen Inspector.
And saying that he agreed with Justice O'Connor about the diversity that the military found. I thought there again it went a considerable distance. When you take,
you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Hubert Humphrey. Now that's before your time, but I remember there was either a Time or a Newsweek front cover, or U.S. News and World Report, the public dying of Hubert Humphrey, who also had cancer, and he did the chemo, and of course he was already bald to begin with, but kind of the public dying of Arlen Specter. But you got to hand it to him. He already had like the brain tumor, and he had quadruple bypass, and he had that magic bullet that went through his
rectum
and out his ear.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560.
You know, the one they found on the stretcher there. Yeah.
This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil God.
Ding, 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 boom, bah. Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Ding, ding.
I'm dying on the air.
Let's do the Kermit Frog. Yay! Kermit. Frog. Bam, bam. It's not easy being green. It's not easy. Hi, hi, ho. It's not easy being green. It's not easy. Hi, ho, hi, ho. Has fun when you're having slides. Has fun when you're hi, hi, ho. Has fun when you're having slides. Let's do the Kermit Frog. Yay! Dum, 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 dum. Kermit, dum, 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 dum. Let's do the Kermit Frog. Yay!
Candy Cowley on there on CNN with Wolf Blitzkrieg and Jeff Greenfield and that other Jeffrey Toobin, all those other boring people. See, they feel, even though there's no testimony going on right now, I've noticed that MSNBC, when they've been showing the hearings, that they just show you the Q&A, you know, and they let you listen. Whereas CNN, they keep interrupting whenever they feel like it, because it's a lot more important to hear Wolf Blitzkrieg asking his pedantic, ponderous questions. Pathetic. At any rate, wait till you hear this.
All right.
Well, I mean, nothing should be surprising. Shortly after Katrina roared through southern Mississippi, knocking out electricity and communication system, the White House ordered power restored to a pipeline that sends fuel to the Northeast. That order to restart 2 power substations in Collins that serve Colonial Pipeline Company delayed efforts by at least 24 hours to restore power to 2 rural hospitals and a number of water systems in the Pine Belt. At the time, gasoline was in short supply across the country because of Katrina. Prices increased dramatically and lines formed at pumps across the South. I considered a presidential directive to get those pipelines operating, said Jim Compton, general manager of the South Mississippi Electric Power Association, which distributes power that rural electric co-ops sell to consumers and businesses. I reluctantly agreed to pull half our transmission line crews off other projects and made getting the transmission lines to the Collins substations a priority, he said. Our people were told to work on it until it was done. They did it in 16 hours, and I consider the effort unprecedented, he said. Unprecedented. How do you like that? Get your priorities straight is what they were telling him, okay? It is unbelievable. Just pathetic. Speaking of pathetic.
As well.
Yeah. 649, man. I think you got a shot. Josh Cordes says we're going to make 800 a day, or he's going to want to know why. He's going to tell Dave Van Boring right to his face what a coma inducer he is. A sleeper. And he really is. Oh, God, so boring. Even that promo we played the other day, did you hear? What was that about? Was it about Don Trell and the home run? That was it.
Okay.
No, I know he's not going to say anything because this weekend they're coming back to town. He's got to sit there and look at his face again. Look at that bad wig. God, that call up and away. I mean, that was okay for the Fifth Dimension. It was okay for Superman, or was that Captain Marvel who said up and?
No,
Captain Marvel said Shazam. Huh?
Yes, he did.
Did he also say up and away?
No, that was Superman.
I don't think Superman did say that. Maybe in the comics he did.
The intro to the old TV series, they said that.
Did he really? Oh, that's right. When George Reeves was playing him with that big paunch.
Right.
God.
It was super.
Oh, yeah. Super chubby. Super flabby. No wonder he blew his brains out. Although there's some debate about that.
Yeah, there is.
You know, that's an interesting poll. Of all the people who died mysteriously, yeah, that's a good poll. How do we word that?
I don't know.
Because there's the Marilyn, you know what I'm talking about, Marilyn Monroe, and then the Bob Crane, you know?
Right.
From Hogan's Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of these people who died under very mysterious circumstances. Speaking of the Marlins, by the way, Dade County says it doesn't have enough cash to help finance the Marlins. How do you like that with that stadium they want? Here they are. They got a game lead now, isn't it? A game over the Phillies?
Yes.
In the wild card. Here they are getting poised for another run at the World Series, and Dade County says, we can't help you out, which is probably the right answer. But nevertheless, with projected cost of a new Florida Marlins ballpark rising and no new sources of revenue, Dade County may be out of options to help finance the project, according to a memo released yesterday, says the Sun Sentinel. I'm not optimistic regarding the future of the ballpark project that the Orange Bowl County Manager George Burgess, no relation to Smokey Burgess, wrote to county commissioners. Or Tommy Burgess, who used to play for the Rochester Red Wings. That guy that called from Rochester yesterday at the beginning of the show, he was all right. Not great. He was okay. He'd have been better if he was sitting like in a Rondequoit.
Okay.
As currently contemplated, the ballpark project requires substantial public funding and financing, and I think we've reached the limits of our ability to contribute in a responsible manner to this project, he said. Oh, geez. Commission Chairman Joe Martinez agreed, saying while he wants to keep the Marlins in South Florida, the county has to balance its needs. Dade pledged tourist tax dollars to the project, but county officials said they've got no more to give. The till is empty. That's what I want to tell Boca Brian, okay? No more to give. No mas. No mas. It looks... Oh, wouldn't it be something if you walked out and found him hanging from a noose like in a hallway there?
Every day.
Hey, I'll tell you, you know what did it for me? That
Everybody have brownie.
It's a masterpiece.
Just when you least think that, when you get a little PO'd at him, which, happens now and then because he can be a little annoying.
He's a precious gem.
He comes up with something phenomenal like that. That's a collector's item, that Brownie Brown. Isn't it?
It's precious. What are you talking about? It's beautiful.
It is. Precious and few are bits like that. Oh, I know Tom doesn't like them because they're just filler material. We got 4 hours to fill, See, Tom, don't write about this show because you don't understand it. You don't understand radio. You're still living in the Sandy Payton era, okay? You're living back in the day, in the old day where they were kicking it ancient style, okay? That's what you're living in.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's what you think is talk radio. Sandy Payton putting people into a coma. God. I really don't care. I just like ripping him an ass because I know he gets upset. And his wife gets psychotic. I'll tell you one thing, though. He must have a really hot-looking wife because his son's a good-looking kid. Jicka. Or maybe just a different father. I don't know. Anyway, getting back to the Marlins. Let's forget about Tom Jicka. You keep bringing that up, and it's just sour grapes, it sounds like to me.
Well.
Because he leaves you out all the time. Oh, he has written about you, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
What has he said?
Remember that one time he said now that George is more or less an equal partner on the show, you're doing less and less. In other words, it was a way of taking
that's right. I was going to phone it in from anywhere around the world whenever I felt like it. Oh, yeah, that was another gem, Tom. Another silly-ass piece of crap. Anyway, instead of closing the financial gap for the Marlins Stadium, it's getting worse all the time, Martinez said. Burgess said a previous funding gap of up to $45 million for a 38,000-seat retractable roof stadium which opened in 2008 could reach $100 million because the stadium could be ready before 2009. The project was delayed this spring when the state legislature didn't approve a state sales tax rebate for a stadium. The state legislature ain't quite frankly doing much of anything. The Marlins, Burgess wrote, did not seem willing to continue to work to find a way to resolve the issues and are reluctant to further expend money and resources on the project. Marlins executives declined to comment. City of Miami officials also said they can't contribute no more. They ain't got it. They're broke. They got to keep buying new teapots for Joe Carollo. County Commissioner Bruno Barrero, well, who the hell is that? They keep sneaking in more of your people while I'm asleep. Plans to ask the Commission's Intergovernmental Recreation and Cultural Affairs Committee, which is meeting today, in fact met this morning, to consider buying 50 mainly rental properties needed for the project. Burgess will give the committee an update. Martinez said he expects the county mangler to report to the full commission on September 22. Burgess outlined options to move the project forward, but all have drawbacks that are not favored by the Marlins, among them building a stadium without a roof, or asking county voters to approve a half or full penny sales tax for a year to raise $160 million to $320 million, to help fund a baseball stadium and renovate the Orange Bowl, Tearing down the Orange Bowl and building a baseball stadium and a small soccer stadium on the site would require less property, but the Hurricanes would need to move to Dolphin Stadium, a move the University of Miami has not endorsed. And why not? Why not? So in other words, it's the Hurricanes they're the problem here. You hear that?
Right, I heard it.
What possible objection could they have of moving to the Dolphin Stadium, the PP Park, Josh?
Who can say?
I mean, so it's not on a campus. Neither is the Orange Bowl is not on a campus. In fact, there is no campus when you come right down to it. But that's just got to be one of the most stupid-ass things. I mean, it's idiotic. Look at how many more people they can, well, I don't know which numbers of people, but just the difference in the ambiance and, like, real toilets that work.
Well, the people, too. I mean, they definitely get a lot more people.
Yeah, and then the comfort factor with just the whole ambiance of playing like in a real stadium instead of that crappy Orange Bowl with those nasty sitting your ass on cement. My God. What is wrong with you, Donna Shillelagh?
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Mr. Mary Catherine, Jesus!
Don't you just hate people that use snappy openers for their show segments? Like that 1 to 2 hour.
Oh! All right.
Sister Jean, the dancing machine, a swinging nun with happy feet. Jump the jive into the beat. Sister Jean, the dancing machine. Sister Jean is making a scene. That ain't Catholic doctoring.
For the gal, the way to leave, she can shake that tasty meat.
She's quite a sight of black and white, looking like a real cool dancing fool. Look at her go, swinging high and low, with her boyfriend Father O'Toole.
Sister Jean, the dancing machine, dancing ain't her only thing. She'll knock you off your feet when you hear her wail and sing.
I got a bad habit of jumping like a rabbit when the music turns me on. I know it sounds crappy, but I'm so not bad. A Cuban kid is gone.
Sister Jean, a swinging nun, a shaking bounce, a ton of fun. That ain't bad for 85, man, that nut can really fly. Sister Jean, the dancing machine. 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 Sister Jean, the dancing machine.
I sure am glad I played that because it makes me realize that I got to like redo that edit there. It's a little on the weak side. Yeah. Of course, we got to edit everything because we sure can't play no GDs and this and AHs, whatever else. All of these.
The land of the free, don't forget.
Oh yeah, used to be 684. So like I said, we needed about 680 votes at the top of the hour to get to 800 a day. And Josh, I think if you push it, if you just kind of like push it a little bit, we can get to 800.
All right, I'm pushing it.
Are you pushing it? And let me say it again. I'm going to push that movie, Team America World Police, that George sent me, because that's and the only people I can see that would think it was not funny are right-wing idiots who wouldn't be watching it anyway.
Well,
although actually they should like it because of the fact that it rips all of those Hollywood people and Michael Moore an ass.
It rips
and the humorless
everybody.
Sean Penn, who takes himself much too seriously.
Sure. There were right-wingers and left-wingers that didn't think it was funny.
Left-wingers who thought it wasn't
Yeah,
funny?
like Sean Penn and a few other people were chiming in there.
I'm not talking about people who... no, see, that's because they're ripping him.
They have no sense of humor, though.
I understand that. I'm not talking about people that are, like, satirized in the movie. I'm just talking about the audience, viewers, and you're telling me that there are left-wing people that don't like it?
At the theater, there were people that got up and walked out.
Get out of here!
That's what they did.
And in the theater, they had, like, the sanitized version, too, right?
Exactly.
Get out of here. So you haven't even seen this one?
No, but... I will.
Well, I'll tell you, if your kids are into a building with Lincoln logs...
Oh, yeah, they're adept.
Okay, Sister Mary Catherine Jesus, I just played that before the top of the hour. Let's get that on the poll right away. We can get to our 800 votes if you hurry, if you rush. As Mr. Ego used to say, if you move quickly. 567, let's get a couple of hundred calls on here, too, to pacify the call lickers out there. Got a lot of people like licking it. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines. WQAM, hello.
Talking high about Neil Rogers.
WQAM, hello.
I'm a homo?
Now, that's a good one. You play that a lot. The humper.
I'm a homo?
Yeah, that's one. Probably want to put that on there. How about, speaking of Hank, now, I don't know if it's going to get any votes, but one of my all-time... Oh, and there's another one.
We're the flagship station.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Flagship station, Hank, and...
He was his ward, not his pedophile.
Oh... I keep thinking of Burt Ward every time he says that. Of course, I keep thinking of Burt Ward all the time. At least what he looked like back then. You don't want to think about what he looks like right now, but then it happens to the best of us.
It looks like Burt Ward.
Yeah, he looks like Hospital Ward. WQAM, hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you got a chance to see Presidente Bush at the United Nations this morning.
I saw about 5 seconds. When he comes on, my eyes go in the other direction.
Oh, I naturally went straight to my office. But did you see the way they introduced him?
No.
Okay, I guess it's protocol that one of the representatives of the United Nations introduces him, and he brought him on, introduced him as His Excellency.
Really?
The President, George Bush.
Wow.
I didn't know whether to,
laugh or eat a banana. Okay, well, thanks for the bad news. His Excellency, the Fuhrer. I understand. We know where he's coming from. See, at least the other Fuhrer, at least he had, like, some presence, you know what I'm saying? He had, like, that domineering, like you expected him, like, to get the whip out, that S&M kind of thing that supposedly they were into.
Well, with a mustache like that, how can you know?
Yeah, he had a bad mustache, let's face it.
Charlie Chaplin mustache.
Oh, my God. No, even Charlie Chaplin had a better mustache than Adolf. Although he sure knew how to tenderize that meat. 567-0560, pound 560 on Verizon and Singular Wireless line. I had a great line for that, but, we don't need the 80 on our case. WQAM, hello.
Hey, I just wanted to let Neil know I went to Arnold's Royal Castle yesterday.
It's burned down.
Closed because they had a big fire.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad that got called because I meant to ask you a follow-up on that. Remember we had a couple of weeks ago, somebody called in and said they were on fire?
Right, and it was true.
That the place was
flaming.
And you never, gave me no...
I have no new information, no.
Well, there's the new info right there. That's what I'm saying. Thank you very much.
We found out after the fact that it really did burn down. I found that out, but as far as...
Well, when you say burn down, there's a difference between there having a fire there and burning down.
Yes,
burning
right.
down sounds like, finito,
Burning down the house. No, I don't know how bad it is or when they'll be reopened or anything like that. But hey,
well,
Wayne Arnold, give a call, huh?
Hey, Wayne, keep us posted, okay? As a matter of fact, maybe they were making a whole bunch of those Neely burgers there. They're really, really flame grilled. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, I got one for you.
Okay.
The dude who used to call you all the time talking about there's no fags in the church.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And
the crazy guy, yeah.
There's no fags in the church.
Right.
That one, and he's got a wife, you know. Take it easy.
Okay. There's two good ones. Of course, everybody's got a wife, except me, I guess, nowadays. All the people with their beards. Everybody. Tom Cruise keeps getting different wives. Wife of the week. I don't think I have that.
Sure you do.
What is that under?
He has.
Huh?
He has.
Oh, he has it? Oh, there's just so much in here. It's reached the point.
You know.
I got it.
He has a wife, you know.
I got it. Just relax, okay? God, you're so hyper. 567-0560. Are we going to make the 800 or what? Oh, there's that goofball, that boring guy from the Hurricane. Although he's not as boring as Max Mayfield.
Another high tide.
Ed Rappaport.
We're
He's
seeing
rapping.
motion that's up.
Here's a rap report.
Northeast and only about 7 miles per hour, so it's going to take about 24 hours before it clears. Probably near the
I think what he's trying to say is nothing could be finer than to blow away Carolina. Take your pick, which one? Although you're always, defending North Carolina.
Right.
We got 7:04. We need 96 in 54 minutes. That should be easy as going to sleep with Dave Van Boring doing a Marlin game. Should be easy as that. He really is boring. I don't care what you say, Josh. He's coma-inducing. I mean, is he really that boring in person when you talk to him? Is he very low-key guy? 567-0560. Do I know how to shut him up or what? The only time and of course, if Duff comes in here, he runs like a son of a bitch. WQAM, hello, and rightfully so. QAM.
Hi, Robert. Hey, you guys doing a wonderful job. With y'all, I don't need to have a drink. Y'all are pure entertainment. I love you.
All right. How do you like that, huh? No extra charge. There's a happy guy. No complaints. He's not one of those negatory people. They all suck. We don't like, It's about time we heard from somebody with a smile on his puss anyway. WQAM, hello. QAM. WQAM, hello.
Neil, thank
you
for taking my call. I love
Thank
your
you for
show.
making your call. Yes, we couldn't take it unless
If
you
you ever
needed it.
retire, I'm going to kill myself. But besides the point.
Yes.
For your poll, the real low. Oh, God. If you got
Didn't we put that on there? I thought that's the other one. Yeah, we put it on there. Thanks so much. Get out of here. Has it got any votes? See, I'm not giving the results on this poll a lot because it's got 5 votes on there. Now that's the Orlando one as opposed to the.
Oh God!
And of course, the Curtis one. Actually, that was under I think more amusing circumstances because the original one was spontaneous,
right?
But this was Curtis who worked in Tampa, WSUN. Right. And when we did the weekly shows from over there, and come to find out that there was a secretary, we called her Susie Shortskirts, who was old enough to be his mother almost. And she was chasing him around. He was a nice kid. He was a nice kid.
By the way.
Although I do wonder about that drag show he used to put on at that bar that I went to watch.
Yeah.
That karaoke thing he did.
Oh, you don't got to wonder. Just so you know that.
What do you mean by that?
That Curtis dropped on him just taking a shot.
Oh. He was a good guy.
To get him to make that cut.
I don't think he was gay. But anyway, so she hitched him finally. She lassoed him.
Yes, she did.
Go ahead to make that cut.
It took him like 10 tries. He kept going.
God!
Well, that's because he was kind of a low-key guy.
He was.
That's why it was such a shock when a bunch of us, I don't know if Tom Velveeta went with us or not. Boy, those were the days, weren't they? Not good ones, but they were sure strange days.
I was a geek.
Yeah, Tom Velveeta. Mm-hmm. He was the PD over at SUN, which was our Cox sister station over there, that they were trying to resurrect by simulcasting our shows and replaying them 80 times a day.
He was the operations manager.
Whatever he was. And then he got married, too, which really shocked the hell out of me, because I thought for sure.
You fairy.
But, so anyway, we went to the bar to watch Curtis do his routine, and he was like a karaoke thing, but he dressed up. And I mean dressed up.
Yeah.
Which was, you see, it's interesting. People who are very low-key in person, it's just like me in this show. It's the same thing. It's a radio show. Off the air, I'm basically a pretty quiet guy. I mean, I can get agitated at times, but generally speaking, I'm pretty low-key. And the same with him. He was not only low-key, he was like one step above comatose. He was like doing his Terry Schiavo. All he needed was his own
cube.
And but he was doing his thing. You know, he wanted. It was that showbiz thing. Oh, he was all right. Good old Curtis.
Oh, God.
That was quite a place. And then, of course, your good buddy Blob Lassiter turned on us like a big, fat, cornered rat. What was that all about? What a piece of turd he turned out to be, huh?
I thought you got him that job in the first place.
I did!
And then he starts taking
I
shots
did get
at
him
you.
the job. He had gotten out of the business.
Holy cow.
Yeah. He was up at a cornfields in Iowa somewhere, and they were trying to put a... Don't you remember when they put the format together? They were simulcasting me and Rick and Suds and whatever else, and they needed a local morning show, and so I recommended Blob Lassiter because he had been successful on FLA in that market, and I figured, well, put him on there.
You
know
could
what I'm
talk to him on the phone, and he was all unemployed and on the beach.
Right. And so I twisted his arm, which, believe me, his ham hock, and he brought him out of retirement, and they hired him to do mornings over there. And then we did that week over there while they were redoing our Miami studios. We had a broadcast from Tampa for a week, and he just turned on us and ripped us an ass. Kind of reminded me of somebody else I know, like ripping an entire staff. It's one thing to rip one person, you know. But when you're like taking on everybody else, just really pathetic is what he was. And then, of course, he finally, then he went back over to FLA, and that lasted for about 2 minutes, and now he's out of the business again. He had that big lawsuit going with them about something, about his lack of talent or whatever it was. You talk about somebody depressing. He was... Not to look at him, to listen to the voice. I mean, just his whole presentation, so suicide-inducing. Some people like Dave Van Boring are coma-inducing. This man was suicide-inducing. You could listen to him for like 10 minutes and want to blow your brains out. He gets you so depressed. He was almost as depressing as Matty Bell. Oh, God, no wonder I'm in such a good mood. I don't have to see any of those people no mo. I will never see any of them again. Oh, yeah, here's a good one. I like this, even though it's long, okay? I don't know how you're going to put Mandich. Yeah. Okay. If he wants me... here it is.
He wants me to sing God Bless America and pasties and a G-string up here. I'll do it.
So you can kind of abbreviate that and
No,
put it
just
on
write the whole thing down there.
Huh? Also, says this faxer, it's Ephraim in Baton Rouge. Hey, Ephraim, I hope you're okay in Baton Rouge, baby. He's all right in Baton Rouge. He says, I found a very interesting article paralleling the hurricane of 28 with Hurricane Katrina as it relates to how black and poor folks weren't evacuated before the storm and their treatment thereafter. The article is titled The Florida Flood That Accounted for the Most Deaths of Black People in a Single Day Until Katrina by Elliot Kleinberg. That's Howard Kleinberg's son. How you doing, Howard? Their website address? Well, I got the website. So thanks, Ephraim. I'll check that out. I wonder if he's kin to Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Or maybe Joe Marsh Jr. Or just grab my Jr. I don't like that Junior thing. I've told you that many times before. That's not a knock against people who are named Junior because you don't choose your own name, you know, because I certainly never would have chosen Nelson.
You don't have to use the Junior, even if they tagged it onto you.
Well, isn't it appropriate if Daddy is still alive that you use the Junior?
What's he going to say?
What about Ray Fisher Jr.? What
Sandy
about
Davis
Sandy
Jr.?
Fisher? Hey, Sandy. Uh-oh. 12 Oh. You know, a lot of people have this stereotype about Canadian women. And the problem is that the stereotype is true, but only for kind of like, I would say like 45 plus. See, they think that all Canadian women are like real school marmish and dress real dykey, and they have that kind of look. And it's true for like a lot of women 45 or 50 plus, real dykey. And of course, the reason for that is because they're dykes.
I was going to say that was not my experience.
Right. But nevertheless, the people here, there are so many beautiful people in this city. It really is scary, you know, of every variety. It's just frightening. 113 at 560 WQAM. We got the Momeister at 2. Yeldy at 4. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that crossover there between around 4 o'clock. See those two kind of like rub their hind legs together.
The Honey Junior.
I knew that I was testifying under oath, and I told the truth. And today I am telling the truth again, that I did not do this intentionally or knowingly.
The Orioles ain't winning, getting worse with every inning. Mazzilli's afraid he's gonna lose his job. Sosa's got no cork, Giambi's in New York, but Palmero shoves those roids down with a knife and fork. We're talking too small, swinging for the fences, talking too small, making mincemeat of the fences. Their testimony just a bunch of lies.
I have never used steroids.
They're pulling 3-run shots with routine flies, like Palmero. Sosa and Big Mac.
There's nothing for me to gain and everything to lose. You know, why would I do this during a season where I was going to get the 3,000 votes. And,
yeah, Lena Zilli got fired out a long time ago. We already know that, but it's still a good bit. 119 at QAM. 730 votes. I think we got a shot at 800. And if not, we'll just keep going until we get there.
All right.
Suspect arrested in samurai sword robbery of Jacksonville lunch crowd. Police say they've arrested the man who used a samurai sword to rob a lunchtime crowd of $32. Matthew Scott Ball, 31, is being held today at the Duval County Jail on $102,506 bail on armed robbery and possession of drug paraphernalia charges. See all your fellow drug addicts out there, George. They're just out of control.
Yeah, I'm sure he was a pothead.
Ball was arrested late Monday, hours after the robbery at Mudville Grill. Oh, the Mudville Grill. I bet it's up on the hill in Jacksonville. Witnesses said the robber whipped the sword across two tables, clearing the tabletops of condiments before slamming his hand on the counter. And they probably swiped away all the sweet and low, too. Several patrons emptied their pockets, and the man grabbed the cash and fled in a green minivan. It was later found abandoned with the sword inside. Police said witnesses identified Ball from a photo lineup. His next court appearance was scheduled for September 30th.
About 30, man.
And there's no immediate information about his legal representation or what kind of drugs he's doing. George wants to know where he gets them.
Right, and how much.
The graft goes on, says Molly Ivins. Now, what about Get the Honey, Junior?
What about it?
It's not on there yet, is it?
I don't know.
Well, let's go. How could that not be on there? Even I'm thinking Grab My Junior, honey. Well, how come that's not on there, too, wouldn't you think?
You'd think.
Grab my junior, honey.
I mean, that's sensational. Okay, you don't like it. I like it. 7, what do we got? I want to keep an eye on this because, you know, Josh has a tendency not to push it. 7:32. He ain't pushing it hard enough. You're not getting with it, man. You got 39 minutes and 68 votes. This is not like falling off a log, you know.
We're gonna get it, no problem.
We were taking it for granted a little while ago, and then once you take it for granted, these people they flop back in their seat and they go into that coma mode, like they're listening to Dave Van Boring doing a Marlin game, you know. I think somebody has to hook some oxygen up into and stick it to their puss to revive them a little bit, especially after most of the swill that's on radio in this town. Boy, there's some bad crap. Anyway, Molly Ivins writes, the graft goes on. She says, here's a good idea. Consumer groups and progressive Congress folks have joined in an effort to stop hundreds of thousands of victims of Hurricane Katrina from being further harmed by the new Bankruptcy Act, scheduled to take effect October 17. This law was notoriously written by and for the consumer credit industry and is particularly onerous for the poor. The bill was passed with massive support from the Republican leadership in Congress from a disgusting number of sellout Democrats. While it was being considered in committee earlier this year, Texas Representative Sheila Jackson Lee offered an amendment to protect victims of natural disasters. It was defeated without debate on a party line vote. Now, Congress has a chance to rethink some of its most punitive parts of the bill. Katrina victims who were planning to file before the new law goes into effect are SOL. Where are they going to find a lawyer, let alone an open courthouse? Under the new law, anyone whose income is over the state median must file under Chapter 13, a more restrictive category that requires some repayment of debt. The new law grants no exemption for natural disaster, even though it's going to be a little tough for some citizen sitting in the Astrodome who no longer has a home to come up with tax statements, pay stubs, and 6 months of income and expense data. Let's see if Congress can manage to open its marble heart on this issue. Meanwhile, it's an ill wind that blows no one good, so we shouldn't be surprised to learn the first winner out of the gate on Katrina is none other than the Halliburton Company, whose deserving subsidiary, Kellogg Brown & Root, has already been granted a $29.8 million contract for cleanup work in the wake of Katrina. Of course, no one would suggest Halliburton and its subsidiaries get government contracts, more than $9 billion for reconstruction work in Iraq, with Pentagon audits thus far showing over $1 billion in questioned costs and $422 million in unsupported costs, just because Dick Cheney is still on the payroll. Heavens no. The Veep continues to receive deferred pay from the company he formerly headed, almost $200,000 last year. But Cheney has nothing to do with the Halliburton contracts. That, friends, goes through none other than the noted lobbyist and former head of all things, FEMA. Since Joe Albaugh, who was Bush's campaign manager in 2000, left FEMA in December 2002, he's been busy making sure reconstruction contracts in Iraq go to companies that gave generously to the Republican Party. Now, aren't you ashamed of yourself for thinking there's something wrong with that? Besides, Albaugh's now with a big-time Washington lobbying firm where he also represents Shaw Group, Inc., and voila, Shaw Group already has a $100 million emergency contract from FEMA for housing management and construction and a $100 million for order from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for Katrina repair. Congress has appropriated over $60 billion in emergency funding for recovery costs, and estimates are the final cost will top $100 billion. Danielle Bryan, director of the Project on Government Oversight, told Reuters, the government has got to stop stacking senior positions with people who are repeatedly cashing in on the public trust in order to further private commercial interests. Now, Ms. Bryan, get a grip. Not all the money goes to the big, politically connected firms. Michael, you're doing a heck of a job. Brown, like to spread federal money around. In fact, Representative Robert Wexler of Florida was so annoyed by Brownie's distribution of largesse in Miami after Hurricane Francis that he urged the president to fire old Brownie last January. What upset Wexler about the $30 million in FEMA checks to cover new wardrobes, cars, lawnmowers, vacuum cleaners, furniture, and appliances was that the hurricane didn't even affect Miami. It landed 100 miles away. Some of you may have heard me observe a time or two, going back to when George W. was still governor of Texas, that the trouble with the guy is that while he's good at politics, he stinks at governance. It bores him. He's not interested. He thinks government is bad to begin with, and everything would be done better if it were contracted out to corporations. We can now safely assert that W. stacked much of the federal government with people like himself. And what you get when you put people in charge of government who don't believe in government and who aren't interested in running it well is what happened after Hurricane Katrina. Many a time in the past 6 years, I've bitten my tongue so I wouldn't annoy people with the always obnoxious observation, "I told you so." But damn it all to hell, I did tell you, and I've been telling you since 1994, and I'm so sick of this man and everything he represents. All the sleazy, smug, self-righteous graft and corruption and Christian moralizing and cynicism and tax cuts for all his smug, rich buddies. Next time I tell you somebody from Texas shouldn't be president of the United States, please pay attention.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Canada, a land that's produced rock and roll's greatest performers. And now, these legendary Canucks pay tribute to one another on this new CD, The Best of Canadians Singing Other Canadians, featuring Anne Murray's version of this Rush classic.
A modern-day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
And Rush's take on this Anne Murray standard. The Best of Canadians Singing Other Canadians has all your favorite singers from Z to A, like Celine Dion's rendition of this Neil Young number.
Old man, look at my life. You're a lot like my husband Rene, no?
Neil Young singing Celine Dion's biggest hit.
I know that my heart of gold will go on.
But that's not all. There's Shania Twain singing Bryan Adams, Crash Test Dummies doing Alanis Morissette, Snow rapping the Guess Who, and Gordon Lightfoot performing this Bare Naked Ladies smash hit.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me, popped your head to the side and said, I am angry.
Pick up your copy of The Best of Canadians Singing Other Canadians. The Great White North has never been so great, or for that matter, so white.
Yeah, Anne Murray, I was thinking to myself while I listened to that, is there anybody who really likes Anne Murray? And then I thought to myself, well, guess what? Compared to Celine Dion, I love Anne Murray.
Man Murray?
Man Murray. Hey, she's got 85 kids, you know.
Does she?
She's got a wife, you know. 752 votes. We got 48 to go till 800. We got about 28 minutes to do it. I think we can do that. Confidence is riding fairly high. Here's a fax that may have a pretty good point. It says, I think the reason why the Hurricanes wouldn't want to move to Dolphin Stadium is that they'd have to cut a deal with Huizinga, and his idea of a fair deal would be like the one he made with the Marlins. That's a very good point. Who wants to deal with the Wayne, with the Wayne Meister? Excellent point. Boy, he just, like I said, people don't change. They are what they are, and if you expect any change, you're going to be bitterly disappointed. Katrina pushes gas price to all-time high. Damage to Gulf Coast refineries and pipelines by Katrina pushed retail gas prices to it. And thank you again, Mr. President, for these bargain basement gas prices. Man, it's fantastic. Almost makes me want to rush right out and get a car here. It's only like $1.29 a liter. That's only like about $5 a gallon. Pushed retail gas prices to historic highs in the past 2 weeks, with self-serve regular averaging more than $3 a gallon for the first time ever. The weighted average price for all three grades surged more than 38 cents to nearly $3.04 a gallon between August 26th and September 9, said Trilby Lundberg, who publishes the semi-monthly Lundberg survey of 7,000 gas stations around the country. Self-serve regular averaged $3.01 a gallon nationwide. Mid-grade was pegged at about $3.11, while premium grade was at nearly $3.21. So in other words, if you have an 18-gallon tank, it's like $55 to fill up and say, oh, thanks a lot. The spike occurred despite declines in the cost of crude oil in recent weeks. In other words, wait till you see those new record profits that the oil companies are making at your expense. And what did I tell you about the eventual, the trickle down? See, they're always talking to these right-wingers about trickle down, and it does. The economy is going to hell in a handbasket. Northwest Airlines and Delta Airlines are both preparing to seek bankruptcy protection, maybe as soon as today, people close to both companies say. Northwest, you see, pretty soon you won't have to worry about which airline you're going to fly. You want to know why?
Why?
They're all going to be out of business. Northwest and Delta are each finishing the details of their bankruptcy cases, including the financing that they'll require to operate under bankruptcy protection, these people said. By the way, Northwest came up $100 million short, I just read. That could cause delays, but the fundamental work of preparing each bankruptcy case is complete. A spokesman for Northwest, the nation's fifth biggest airline, said that the company has made no decision on Chapter 11 filing. Yeah, just hold your breath a couple hours. Likewise, a spokeswoman for Delta, the third biggest carrier, said no decision has been made. Hold your breath. Both airlines would file for Chapter 11 protection under a U.S. bankruptcy court in New York. Their cases will be assigned to different judges. If filings are made today, the first hearings will be tomorrow. If Northwest and Delta both file, that would mean 4 of the industry's 7 biggest airlines were operating under bankruptcy protection, reflecting the deep competitive issues that have battered airlines since the year 2000. United, which is the second biggest airline behind American, has been operating under Chapter 11 since December 2002. Last week it submitted a reorganization plan, said it hoped to emerge from court protection early next year. Meanwhile, U.S. Scare, which sought bankruptcy protection last year for the second time in 2 years, expects to emerge from a court protection this fall when it plans to merge with America West. Those airlines will operate under the U.S. Airways name, U.S. Scare. That would leave American. Oh, God, I wouldn't fly that if they paid me by the mile. You ever fly American?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Oh. I think their motto ought to be, chaos is us. That would leave American, the industry's biggest carrier, Continental the fourth largest, and Southwest the sixth largest, as the major airlines operating outside bankruptcy protection. While a bankruptcy filing by Delta had been expected to come this week, the filing by Northwest had been thought to be several weeks away, but Northwest and all the large domestic airlines have been hit hard by the spike in jet fuel prices and the aftermath of Katrina, which interrupted production of refineries on the Gulf Coast. But even before the storm, do you hear those words I just said? Even before the storm, airlines were already paying about 50% more for jet fuel this year than in 2004. 50% more. What a horror. Huh? Pathetic. And I never really thought about this, and I bet you didn't either. All the other aspects, you know, the human toll and all the other stuff, the disease and the, well, this has to do with the disease.
Right.
As rising floodwaters swamped New Orleans, Louisiana's chief epidemiologist enlisted state police on a mission to break into a high-security government lab and destroy any dangerous germs before they could escape or fall into the wrong hands. Armed with bolt cutters and bleach, Dr. Raul Retard's team entered. That's what you have to have when you go into the QMT room there. Bolt cutters and bleach, especially a lot of the bleach. Armed with bolt cutters and bleach, Dr. Retard's team entered the so-called state hot lab and killed all the living samples. This is what had to be done, said Retard, who matter-of-factly put a sudden end to his lab's work on dangerous germs which he wouldn't name. At least Retard's team was able to retrieve laptop computers containing vital scientific data. Many other scientists in the region weren't so lucky, losing years of research, either through the storm damage or voluntary destruction. Not since the torrential floods from Tropical Storm Allison, which badly damaged the Texas Medical Center in 2001, has scientific research been disrupted on such a large scale. Doctors and researchers in a Crescent City became exiles overnight, indefinitely locked out of their labs, unable to see patients. Thousands of lab animals, many genetically engineered with human diseases like cancer and painstakingly bred and cared for, perished along with vital tissue samples thawed in abandoned labs. Important work on heart disease, cancer, AIDS, and a host of other ailments may be lost forever to scientists at Tulane and Louisiana State University's medical schools in New Orleans. LSU lost all of its 8,000 lab animals, including mice, rats, dogs, and monkeys. Monkeys? Many drowned, others died without food and water, and the rest were euthanized, said Dr. Larry Hollier, Dean of the LSU Health Sciences Center School of Medicine. About 300 federally funded projects in New Orleans colleges and universities worth more than $150 million were affected in some way. One of the biggest blows is the likely destruction of frozen urine and blood samples from thousands of patients enrolled in the Bogalusa Heart Study, the world's longest-running racial study of risk factors for heart disease. Samples collected and frozen since 1973, thawed out when the hurricane knocked out electricity, and backup generators failed at the Tulane lab in New Orleans. How do you like that?
I don't.
A whole bunch of new people are going to have to, pee all over the place. So, in other words, go get that movie Team America, World Police, because they're doing it all in there.
Yeah.
Just like that woman says in that tow yard turd spot, I'm going to do it all. and they sure did. Okay, how are we doing? Let's not yuck it up here, okay? Let's not take our eye off the prize, okay, Josh? Are you leaning on it?
I'm leaning.
Yeah. Let me take a look. I can't get this thing going here. Oh, there it is. 769. Oh, he just made that up. 769. That means we need 31 more votes in 21 minutes, which isn't like a whole lot. But don't ever sit back and assume. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever assume that these people are going to come through. You have to keep whipping them and hitting them and beating them and pushing it. Just like in that movie Team America. Keep pushing it. Californians get calls about Nebraska Walmart. I love this. Several residents of Lincoln, California received phone calls last week asking for their support for a Walmart in Northeast Lincoln. The only problem is the call concerned a proposed Walmart that was nowhere near California. It's in Lincoln, Nebraska. Residents were asked to support the Walmart by contacting the Lincoln-Lancaster County Planning Department. Many Californians did to complain about the disturbing calls. A telemarketing company rented call machines that were used recently to promote Walmart in Nebraska. Walmart spokesman Ryan Horn said the Walmart message wasn't erased from one of the machines and wound up being heard by the Californians in place of the telemarketer's message. How do you like that? They can't get their Lincoln straight, huh? Speaking of Lincoln logs.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
All the crap you can unwrap, all the slime, all the time.
The true Hollywood story.
Bob Denver, the actor that played Gilligan, dead at 70. Did we really know him? When we come back, he reveals newly discovered videos of the crew's all-night sex parties.
Oh, Gilligan, you made me so happy. You're wonderful. You're just marvelous. I don't know how to describe you. You're so great.
Take it easy now, little buddy. Just take it easy. Although they never got off the island, they still got off.
Oh, yes, you're so rugged, so masculine. How about a little kiss, Gilligan?
Sure. Gilligan, are you all right? Do it again, will you please?
The true Hollywood story.
Oh, I got one that we don't have on the poll yet. David Sampson going...
We did it!
Like that.
Oh, okay.
Because in a minute we can actually play that.
We did it!
We're going to have our 800. Any second now. I had 792 last time I took a puke at it. 793. See, they're pouring in by the ones now. They want to do it very carefully, take us up right toward the top of the hour, right to the edge. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I don't know. 793, I think we got a shot. We can do it. We're going to put that on there? David Sampson?
We did it!
Or not, as the case may be. It's kind of cute. Only he could do that. And, of course, the Marlins and the Astros tonight, 8:05. Big game number 3 of that series. And so far the Marlins are kicking some big ass. Well, Houston just can't score no runs. That's all there is to it. In fact, they shouldn't have even wasted Dontrell in that first game, you know? I think you could go out there and pitch, Josh, and Houston just can't get the job done. No mo. They're sliding. A cross-dressing court clerk was found dead yesterday, says the New York Daily News, holding a sex toy and bound with women's pantyhose inside his Queens apartment, police said. Nicholas Dialosa, 46, died of an apparent drug overdose inside the basement apartment on 123rd Street in College Point. Delosa, a senior criminal court clerk, was wearing a bra and panties, and heroin was near his body when his girlfriend found him about 10 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes good people get involved in bad things, said his brother John Dialosa. Several neighbors acknowledged hearing Nicholas Dialosa screaming between 1 and 3 in the morning, but nobody called police. Maybe he knew like Michael Caine from the, what was that movie with Angie Dickinson?
Dressed to Kill?
Dressed to Kill. Boy, that's a good movie. We thought to call the cops, but then everything got so quiet, said Peter Guvazzo, who lives on the second floor. Neighbors said they heard Dialosa screaming on other days, including a recent mid-morning rant in which he yelled, "I hate my life!" He was yelling...
I have no life.
Or something like that. Dialosa, former Marine and father of 3 who had worked for the court for 22 years when it was in the midst of his second divorce, his landlord said. This is very surprising, said neighbor Maria Gubazzo, 34. He looked like a very macho man. Oh, yeah. The guys that look like a very macho man, like Arnold, those are the guys who turn out to be the girly men. Is there any question about it?
No.
No. 793, I'm going to refresh it, and I have a feeling that we might... 799. We're right on the edge. What do you got?
That's refreshing.
Is it refreshing? And it is mild, okay? Less filling. Less to fill in. 801. We did it. Thank you. Okay, that's it. Now we can forget about that. Jackson Deal writes in the Washington Post, Inhuman, yes or no? It's about your close personal friend, Jose Jimenez Alberto Gonzalez. During a meeting at the Post late last month, I asked Attorney General Alberto Gonzalez a pretty simple question. Is the policy of the Bush administration not to subject the foreign prisoners it's holding to cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment? The phrase I quoted refers to abuse falling just short of torture. It's banned by an international treaty negotiated by the Reagan administration and ratified a decade ago by the Senate. Gonzalez started to reply, then hesitated. Then he said he wasn't sure and he'd have to get back to me with an answer. Last week I called his office to see if the answer was ready. It wasn't. Instead, a spokesman told me that the staff response was to refer me to the testimony delivered in Gonzalez's name to the Senate Judiciary Committee after his confirmation hearing earlier this year. It was that maddeningly unclear language that prompted me to ask him the question in the first place. A couple of things about this exchange struck me as remarkable. First, how could the Attorney General of the U.S. not be able to state U.S. policy on cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment of prisoners, especially since his department has repeatedly reviewed the matter in the past several years? Gonzalez, mind you, didn't appear to be evading the question. He just simply didn't know the answer. The other issue flows from the first. Oh, I wonder whose roommate he was. The other issue flows from the first. Why is it that the Bush administration, at enormous cost to U.S. prestige around the world, insists on being ambiguous about this straightforward question? If Gonzalez has a defense, it may be that the lawyers in his department who've addressed the issue have done so in a way that could easily confuse somebody like their boss, not to mention the captains and sergeants and civilian contractors actually charged with interrogating prisoners in places such as Iraq, Afghanistan, and Gitmo. Here's the answer that was submitted on Gonzalez's behalf, though apparently without his comprehension last January. Despite the treaty, the administration contends that there is no legal prohibition on the use of cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment by U.S. personnel as long as it's inflicted on aliens overseas. That means the CIA, for example, could legally abuse the al-Qaeda suspects it's holding in secret foreign detention facilities, provided it stops short of outright torture. But Gonzalez ghostwriters added the administration wants to be in compliance with a treaty standard that suggests that CID, as the lawyers call it, is prohibited in practice. Or does it? The Senate has legally defined cruel, inhuman, and degrading as any treatment that would violate the 5th, 8th, or 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Gonzalez said all approved interrogation techniques have been checked against that standard, but the Attorney General was also asked about various specific practices that American interrogators are known to have used, including simulated drowning, mock execution, sleep deprivation, forced nudity, and the use of dogs to inspire fear. He answered, some might be permissible in certain circumstances. That must mean one of two things. Either the Bush administration considers mock execution and simulated drowning allowable under the Constitution and thus available for use by the FBI and Americans, or it does not in fact have a policy of prohibiting CID for all prisoners. Gonzalez isn't the only one who doesn't get it. The administration's artfully muddled position has triggered an extraordinary standoff between the White House and a group of Senate Republicans led by torture victim John McCain. McCain now has 8 GOP co-sponsors for an amendment to this year's defense authorization bill that would prohibit the use of cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment for all persons in the detention of the U.S. government. His staff is confident that he's got the votes to pass the measure when the bill comes up on the floor, probably later this month. The administration protest at McCain's proposed rule is already being followed. A CIA briefer recently assured congressional staffers that CID was out of bounds for al-Qaeda detainees. So why did Dick Cheney vehemently object to the proposed amendment in a meeting with McCain and Armed Services Committee Chairman John Warner this summer? And why did the administration pull the defense authorization bill from the Senate floor in late July rather than allow the amendment to come to a vote? Maybe there's a good reason, but whatever you do, don't ask Alberto Gonzalez.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Tim Mandich, I hacked him. Oh!
Hey everybody, I'm Brownie Brown, accountable for everybody drowned and drowned. As a human being, I'm a big disappointment, but I got a brown nose and I knows where to point it. There was no rush to get them saved. They don't vote Republican anyway. I did everything I possibly can to show my support for the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, what a job I had as the rector of FEMA, when I ain't much more than a weaselly schemer and a clueless son of a bitch. Gets his kicks, brown nose in the ridge. Gets his kicks, brown nose in the ridge. New Orleans is wiped out and gone, but W said I did one heck of a job, and it sure pays off to be a crony and another white-faced Christian phony. The National Guard is down there now, with orders just to get the press out of town. Everybody go home, there's nothing to see. Everything here is peachy keen. Oh, the hurricane gave us the big easy for neocon social engineering, like a giant Republican squeegee. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. Praise Jesus Bush, our Lord and King. I don't believe compassion's what we lack. It serves the right to hapless blacks and you dissenters who say it's a national disgrace. They shouldn't have been black in the first place. This is no time to play the blame game, since we know that hurricanes are caused by gays who are not the right kind of homo. Like Scotty McClellan and Karl Rove, oh, we're achieving the American right-wing dream to make everybody white like me, and an ignorant son of a bitch who gets his job brown nose in a ridge. Oh, how I miss petting my Arabian horses. I'd rather do that than watch floating corpses. I'm a negligent murderer now.
Yes.
And a I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown. I'm a negligent murderer now, but I'll keep going down to keep my nose brown.
It's comforting to know that not only was he clueless, but Michael Chertoff, who's your head of Homeland Security, he hasn't come within 100 yards of a clue yet.
He's not just ugly, but he's grumpy, too.
He is pathetic. Yeah, and a real surly bastard, too.
You didn't hear what I
Press
said
conference.
about them.
Yeah, I laid the ground rules now. You're just going to have to do it the way I told you. Just get the hell out, yeah.
Who the hell is he?
Yeah. Who the hell are you,
Who the hell are
you jackass, you bearded goofball, you imbecile, you fairy. Right. What's your favorite sound to drop it on Neil's show? Well, we finally got past the fart sounds they want back that I'm sure they're not going to get. Number one.
About 30, man.
117 for that. Fart sounds 116. They want them back badly, but don't hold your breath. You fairy. 83. 66.
I'm dying over here.
63.
Absolutely correct, sir.
54. See, this is not easy. I'm trying to do 4 things at one time.
All right.
41. It puts the lotion in the basket, Buffalo Bill 28. Cube 23. A lot of people out there who love the
Cube.
21. And that's the first time it's on there. Geldy Squeak 19. The American Effing Way 17. They all suck 17. I guess Tom Jicka must have voted more than once today.
Bye, bye, bye.